Hello and welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for Week 6, which is actually Week 3. It's our makeup week here in the ECR Elite Championship Racing season. Tonight, obviously, myself, John Bucher, joined with my broadcast partner, Colin Fern. Take a quick look at your weather there before we get things going. Partly cloudy, 69 degrees, beautiful day for racing. A bit of a 19-mile-an-hour wind. Shouldn't play too much of a factor tonight. This track is already kind of slippery. Colin, I know coming off last week's exciting, less than exciting race, I should say. What should we look for tonight?
Well, John, it's going to be an interesting race. You got a lot of loose cars out there, loose and tight. The wind makes it really tight into 1 and 2, so you guys got to get the cars slowed down, and it's going to be a factor of slow is fast, and you see that a lot here in iRacing, especially here in ECR, and that's going to be a play and a factor into 1 and 2. In 3 and 4, you have the exact opposite. You're going to have guys counter-steering all the way to the right just to keep their car straight and going as fast as they can go.
So taking a peek down there at one of our first drivers taking a look at it tonight, the number 24, Josh Wallace. I noticed a little bit different scheme on his and a few other cars around the track. Colin, you want to give a heads up on what we got going on tonight with these paint schemes?
Yeah, John, in honor of the Final Four we had last night, congratulations to Duke Blue Devils for winning that title. We have our NCAA-themed paint scheme tonight. We got a lot of different schools coming on. These guys' favorite schools they attended. A lot of different schools. It's a really fun event here with ECR. I got NCAA-themed paint schemes. It's a lot of fun here. These guys have had a lot of fun. Luis Salmazo and Nick Geilis did a lot of work in making those paint schemes this week, and it's a lot of fun to see those guys out there enjoying it as much as we are.
So you mentioned a few guys that worked on the paint schemes. A few guys we want to talk to tonight. We'll go ahead and kick things off. Last week we didn't catch Sean Medling post-race with his victory due to some technical issues with TeamSpeak, but I'll go ahead and pull him down here. And Colin, I think you have a few questions for him coming off last week's victory.
Hey, Sean Medling, man, last week we didn't get a chance to talk to you. You won at Martinsville. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk to you. And you come out here tonight in your number 37 machine. What are you looking forward to tonight in your Ole Miss Chevrolet?
Right now, I'm just looking to finish the race. Didn't get a whole lot of practice in, especially tonight and during the week. So right now, I'm just looking to get a good finish for the HMF crew, and hopefully get one of our other guys in the victory lane in the chase there.
Absolutely, man. You mentioned right there, 3 weeks in a row, Haters Make Us Famous, has gone to victory lane. And your 37 machine, Ole Miss, you went to victory lane last week. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about that. How do you feel about being able to qualify for the chase and have that momentum carrying into Las Vegas this week?
Oh, it takes a lot of pressure off you, definitely. Not having to worry about getting in on points or whatnot. So, the whole mindset right now is just learning the cars and just getting faster week in and week out.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're the Rebels in the paint scheme, and you're Rebels on track, man. 37 Sean Medling. Congratulations on your win last week, and good luck tonight, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
And that was the driver, that number 37 Ole Miss SS. Again, we mentioned tonight a bit of a theme here, our first theme night here at ECR. These guys running here in Vegas, the different paint schemes. And one of those guys I know that helped with it, Aaron Vincent, pulled down here in the booth. Colin, I think you got a few questions for him as well.
Aaron Vincent, roll tide, buddy. You driving the Alabama machine tonight, 49 car. Haven't been that fast in practice, but what are you looking for out of your number 49 car tonight?
I'm just hoping to get the best performance I can. I've had a lot of trouble here in practice today, but just looking to do the best that I can, in this Crimson Tide Chevy.
Absolutely, man. Well, your teammates seem to be doing really well. You got your teammates in first, second, and ninth. So you guys are doing very well as a team. Are your teammates teaching you anything that are helping you out there early on tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're giving me a lot of pointers about entry, exit, in the corners, making a couple adjustments on the setup just to fine-tune it, just every little bit you can get before the race starts, And I really appreciate all that help that they're giving me.
Absolutely, man. And you've had your struggles early on this year. You haven't had the best of luck getting caught up in a lot of other people's wrecks. Still chugging along. You're running well in the 49 car. You've had a lot of good, consistent runs. Are you hoping for another one of those tonight in Las Vegas?
Oh, absolutely. You're right. It's been a real struggle so far this season. Getting caught in a wreck here or there. Like I said, I just want to go out there, drive my line straight and smooth, and hopefully everyone else can do the same and won't have any problem.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're tied for 13th in the points right now. You're 17th on the practice charts. Tonight in your Roll Tide Chevrolet, as much as I hate to say it.
All right, thanks, Colin and John. Appreciate it.
And that there was the driver, the number 49 Alabama Chevy SS, Aaron Vincent. Finally got an interview with him. It's been a while. We're finally got to get Aaron Vincent on board here and talk to him on the broadcast. Looking at the point standings, Anthony Ditchner, your points leader, has pretty much been dominating the last few weeks. He had his issues at Martinsville and different things, but not doing too well tonight, Colin. He's, what, 7th right now in practice?
He's 9th in practice, John. He's had his struggles. He has been consistently fast, and which is one of Anthony's better features, I guess. But he's been consistently fast. He's very good in race trim, and he's 9th on the practice charts right now. But I really don't think that's going to play into factor where he finishes tonight. I think he'll have a good, solid run.
It is odd to see him down there. Usually a guy that we see pretty much primarily towards the front in practice. I know he shares that in common with Aaron Berge, again absent tonight. But it'll be interesting to keep an eye on if he qualifies back in the pack. Probably the first time he's had to come from a further back qualifying spot and make his way to the front. So we're excited tonight. Like we said, this is a makeup week. We missed this race. I believe it was week 3 or 4 of the season. I can't exactly remember. I believe it was week 3 due to some iRacing issues. So this is the NASCAR off week. But here at ECR, you guys are still getting yourself a broadcast. So we do apologize for the bit of a mix-up. But Las Vegas here tonight, Colin, and I know you already talked a little bit about it, but this track presents some unique challenges. What should these guys be watching out for?
Well, the first thing we should talk about, John, is that tonight there's only 5 minutes of qualifying. Definitely something to look out for. These guys are going to have to get out there and get their best laps out there early on. But overall, John, this place is slick, it's hot, it's fast, it's windy, and these guys are going to be all over the place trying to find all the grip that they can get. And I think you're going to see another factor of the best drivers in the league are going to get the best finishes tonight.
This is certainly one of those tracks where the cream seems to rise to the top. Las Vegas, usually a good benchmark. We mentioned early on in the year to kind of set your program where you're at. We're running a little bit later, but still not a bad benchmark here in the early season. I think we go to Texas next week and on from there. So these guys got to get a good run tonight. You see the first laps being made. Justin Bland, I believe, one of the first on the tracks you mentioned. Only 5 minutes tonight. So they got to get everything they can, and they got to get it quick.
Absolutely, John. Justin Bland and his 65 South Florida machine. We're going to talk to him here in a little bit. He's our in-race reporter, but he seems to be running the higher groove in 1 and 2, which you're going to see quite a bit of tonight, trying to get that car to get all the grip they can get, the higher banking. It's progressive banking, which meaning they get the higher banking, the higher they get up on the track, so that gives him a little more grip and he's able to hold his car as he comes across the line. Nick Gronfel's fastest right there, and Matthew Thunhorst, and then Justin Bland not quite where Matthew Thunhorst is.
So Matthew Thunhorst outpassed now by Stephen Massey, early pole sitter. I don't know what exactly the time we should be looking for here tonight, but I imagine it's probably not going to pick up too much from that 8.3.
No, John, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a high 7, low 8. I don't think you're going to be able to get anything lower than that. As Wayne Willard, who's fastest in practice, goes out there and he puts a lap second down in the charts. Kevin Cook 5th in practice, Mark Figueroa 6th, and Luis Samazo 8th.
Wayne Willard, one of those guys that's had some good runs early on in the season. He hasn't really gotten the finishes to go along with it. He's kind of hanging on there, showing 16th in points right now, but we've called his name a lot, and maybe tonight, if he can qualify well, he's showing 3rd right now, might be able to break that curse and get himself a good finish.
Absolutely. He's been running good, John. He's just had the worst luck. He's been getting caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Other than that, he has had very fast, very consistent cars, and he's part of that team that's been running very well at Haters Make Us Famous Racing. And I think it's just a matter of time until he heads into victory lane.
Yeah, Wayne Willard to me is
how
one of
about
those
Charles
Kyle
Silver,
Larson
second
types.
on the charts?
Charles Silver jumps him now, puts Wayne Willard still in the 3rd position, but he's kind of that Kyle Larson type where he's got the talent and he's got the cars, just a matter of stringing together the finishes. And I think he'll do it, and I think it's still very early on in the season, obviously this being only week 6. And he's got some time. He's got 20 races left to lock himself in the chase, and I think we'll be calling his name in Victory Circle before too long.
Absolutely, John. I don't put it past anything. Wayne Willard has had very fast cars, as I said. He's had fast cars. It's just a matter of stringing together the speed, the consistency, and the luck to get a good finish, and he hasn't had put those 3 things together yet this year.
And speaking of luck, we are in Las Vegas. I hate to use the old Darrell Waltrip cliche, but we are in Las Vegas. Luck plays a big factor on this racetrack and really in racing in general, but this is one of those tracks where if we see some wrecks like we saw last week at Martinsville, these guys don't have the time to get out of the way that they did, and damage a little bit more impactful here. So going forward, these guys have got to calm down a little bit tonight. We saw a bit of a one-off.
Wayne Willard ties Stephen Massey.
And another tie.
2-0 prevail.
And
as
Colin,
Stephen Massey still holds the spot.
To tie into what I was saying about last week, what did we have for the poll last week that was so different?
Yeah, another time.
We had a tie for the pole last week. We had 20 caution flags. Maybe tonight we'll have a tie for the pole. We'll have no caution flags. We'll have an anomaly on the other end. But right now, Stephen Massey, Wayne Willard tied for your pole. Charles Silver third. Matthew Thunhorse driving that number 606, for Nick Olson. He's going to be in fourth, having another good run tonight. His second start for that team. Matthew George, surprise name up in the top 5. He's around out your top 5 right now in qualifying.
Well, John, Wayne Willard, I think, is going to be the only guy. I don't think Charles Silver has the speed to get out there and get
and Dick Groff goes for a ride. Big wreck off of turn 4.
Wayne Willard, John, I think he's going to be the only guy that's going to be able to get anything for Stephen Massey. So you can ride along with him on our lovely new feature here on MOTV.
We are on the nose of that beautiful new college paint-schemed theme night here on ECR.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Be interesting to
You
see
him,
these
John,
guys
he's
throughout
running
the
that
night.
middle line right there. He's running that middle line, trying to get all the grip he can on that progressive bank. He gets a good run off turn 2, uses the high side to get all the speed he can going down the backstretch into 3. And you're not going to hear him lift a whole lot out of here, John. You're going to hear him get off it and get right back in it.
Very, very short amount of time on that throttle. You heard him put it right back down, pretty much almost to the floor. These cars with that new rules package.
He's going to go on the apron to cut the track, get everything he can. And he got it. No, he didn't. Oh, wow.
What a tight battle for the pole there. So Stephen Massey's going to win your pole here in Vegas. Not by much, though. Wayne Willard, we have for the second week in a row a tie for the ECR pole here. Stephen Massey, Wayne Willard, Charles Silver third, Matthew Thunhorse fourth, and our in-race reporter Justin Bland jumped up to fifth.
Only 17 guys taking the time as ECR is taking proclamations, I guess you could say, to get a cleaner racing after last week at Martinsville. It was a brutal race. New proclamations here in ECR to try to get all the guys to understand the rules better and understand just the league as a whole. So not a lot of guys running tonight. I think we're going to have 20 exactly, but 17 guys taking the time.
Not a bad field by any means. Not what we had last week at Martinsville, but after that race, I'm not so sure that's a bad thing. So now your new top 5. Aaron Vincent jumped up into the top 5. Luis Salmazo third. And I'm reading the wrong things. We've changed to practice names. My apologies there. iRacing likes to mess with me pre-race here. But we'll go ahead and get our in-race reporter, Justin Bland, down here, Colin, and let you spit some words in his ear.
Hey, Justin Bland, the 65 car. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, bud, I got you.
Hey, man, South Florida, Tampa, Florida car right now. You've spent 6th in practice. You were 6th on the grid. What are you looking for out of your 65 machine tonight?
Well, I'm hoping to get out of here with the top 5 at least. Feels pretty good so far. So, goal is so far to just stay up here in the front and see what we can do.
Now, I talked to you earlier this week, and you were struggling. You hated this place. You couldn't get a feel for the track. What changed, Amanda, that you're running up there in the top 6?
So track kind of changed. I think it was about a day or two ago. The winds shifted. I think it was blowing south, now it's north. And whenever that did, it pretty much the setup that I had that sucked. It made it good. So hopefully we'll be able to use that to our advantage here. Hopefully everyone else is still working on their sets, and ours is just a little better. We'll just see.
Absolutely, man. You and your teammate Matthew George running qualified 6th and 7th. As an owner, to see Matthew up there in the top 5 in points, that has to feel really good about both of you guys' chances. You guys have been both running good, 5th and 6th in points.
Oh, I love it, man. It's great. It's awesome to hear that. Good to see that we got some success coming out of here, you know?
Absolutely, man. Well, you're driving the 65, University of South Florida. Chevrolet SS tonight, man. Good luck tonight, and good luck the rest of the season, buddy.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
And that was your in-race reporter, the number 65 car of Justin Bland, running that USF paint scheme. Again, we mentioned tonight, folks, you pick your winners tonight, maybe based on your favorite school. Pretty much everybody in the field running those college paint schemes. It'll be fun to see throughout the night just what colleges come to the front, what colleges drop to the back, and we'll kind of play that game. But Colin, if you want to go ahead and set the field, we'll get this thing rolling.
Well, John, again, all SEC Southeastern Conference front row here tonight. We got Stephen Massey in the 97 and Wayne Willard in the 01. Tennessee and Georgia take up the front row as Charles Silver and his number 7 North Carolina Tar Heels machine is going to start on the inside of the second row. Mark Figueroa driving his always National Guard 00 machine. Matthew Thunhorse driving his Missouri Tigers, another SEC car there up in the front. He's starting 5th. Justin Bland, and we talked to him just a minute ago. He's in the 65, and his teammate in the 50, Matthew George, driving that Pittsburgh Panthers machine, starts 7th. Chuck Harrell driving the Skull. You gotta love that chewing tobacco, man. Chuck Harrell in the 88 is going to start 8th. And A.J. Scarborough rocking the Jameis Winston number 5 Florida State machine. He's going to start 9th, and Rob Burns in the Penn State 12 is going to round out the top 10. John, I know you love that Penn State.
Yeah, as an Ohio State fan, they're my favorite college. Free win every single year.
Kevin Cook rocking the Tennessee Tech scheme. He's going to start 11th. Anthony Titchener in his University of South Carolina USC Gamecocks machine. He's going to start 12th. Aaron Vincent, one of the 2 guys running Alabama schemes tonight. And the other guy we talked to, Sean Medley in the 37 running the Ole Miss. Luis Salmazar driving the University of Connecticut. Good luck to their women's team as they're playing tonight as we're getting ready to go green flag.
These guys are going to come out of turn number 4. The pace car is going to make that hard left turn, and college night's going to get underway here on ECR in Las Vegas. Week 6, what is week 3? It's just about ready to get kicked off. And we are green in the outside line. Wayne Willard did not get going. Huge stack on the outside lane, almost like he missed the gear or didn't put it down in second gear. Going to get that thing rolling now, but a scary moment already on the restart there.
Absolutely, John. And for a rather quick race tonight, 134 laps, Stephen Massey going to have to try to hold off Charles Silver. Charles Silver doesn't want to waste any time. He wants that lead now. Had to get out of it there.
Yeah, Charles Silver maybe getting it a little too deep. That's going to cost him. Matthew Thunhorse going to go under him.
Matthew Thunhorse, once again, John, doesn't take long for us to talk about him and his number 6 Missouri Tigers machine. He's moving up to 2nd as he started 5th, gained 3 spots on that first lap.
I got to tell you, Colin, I'm loving the paint schemes already. These are some very, very well done paint schemes out there, and it's making the track very colorful.
Absolutely, it really is, John. And how about that one Ford Fusion? I know Nick Giles is watching from home with his girlfriend. Hope she gets better. Our prayers go out to them. But Nick Giles watching his driver in that Ford Fusion, that Tennessee Volunteer scheme. Oh, as he gets loose off turn 4.
And just to give him a shout, Stephen Massey.
He's not the only one. We got one more through the grass. That's Wayne Willard, our front row.
And Wayne Willard going to pay a much bigger price as he killed that inside wall, clips another car, and now going to park it.
I think that was Luis Salmazo in the 72 with major damage.
Go back and get you guys a replay here. Get you the best shot we can. Wayne Willard just drifted back up the track, and yes, I believe it was a 72. Just caught a piece as he went by.
And once again, John, just not the luck he gets.
Wayne Willard, we gave him a call in qualifying about how he just didn't have the finishes. Comes out here, he's qualified 30 at a really good car.
He's still stopped on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, he's still parked, maybe hoping for that caution.
No yellow flag coming out right now.
Yeah, he might be hoping to get that caution. I don't think he's going to get it down there. Remember, in iRacing, there's no virtual safety crews, so no need to throw a caution for a car off the racing surface. That gives the lead to Matthew Thunhorse. Charles Silver on his bumper. The gap's about a second back then to Mark Figueroa. Pretty much both of our cars not running paint schemes tonight. Are running 3-4, that 00 National Guard.
Trying to spoil college night here.
Trying to break up the college party tonight.
Well, John, early on here, Sin City's really paying some prices for some of these guys, as Wayne Willard, obviously, his night is all but over. Luckily, Stephen Massey and his number 97 machine really salvaged any damage. He went through the grass, got it woed up in time. He's racing that Sean Medley in the 37.
And he gets loose again, just a little wiggle on that high side. It's not treating him very well. He's making good speed up there. It's just a matter of keeping that car under control. He got lucky the first time. I don't think he wants to try his luck again.
And John, we got a pass for the lead. Charles Silver, North Carolina Tar Heels to the point.
Charles Silver making that number 7 car work here early on. He's another guy we've given some calls to early on. He doesn't necessarily had the finishes, but he's got a very good race car. And passing Matthew Thunhorse, who's been a front runner ever since he joined 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, John, Charles Silver currently 12th on the chase grid for that number 7 machine. He's looking to make North Carolina proud. And his number 7 Tar Heels machine is he gets some pressure from Matthew Thunhorse in the 6th and Mark Figueroa in the 00.
Another guy I want to go back and take a look at, Anthony Titchener, the 87 South Carolina car, started pretty much the farthest back he started all year long in 12th. He's battling his way up to 5th now, making a move on the 65 with Justin Bland. Justin Bland thought about getting it back, thought better of it. But Anthony Titchener, no surprise there, on the move early, all the way up to 5th.
Oh, Justin Bland getting a little loose behind him. It's our interest. Porter, nice save by him. But, John, I mentioned it earlier. I feel like Anthony Titchener, he hasn't been hot lapping, but he's been fast consistently. He's been fast in traffic, and I think that's going to help him get a good finish tonight.
And on request of Nick Olson, taking a peek at one of his cars here on the stream, a little bit of left front on that 72, got it a lot worse than I thought he did. When the 01 of Wayne Willard clipped him, that left front all beat up, and the left side of that car damaged as well. So tough break for Luis, obviously one of the better personalities in the league week to week. He's always fun to talk to, and tough break for him early on. He's got that car all beat and banged up and needs a caution to get in there and get it fixed up. He's running back in 17th, currently second last car on the lead lap.
And John, I'm looking at his lap times right now, and they're falling off. They're not too far off where he was running earlier. He's only 4/10 off the leader. I think that damage is fixable, and I think it won't hurt him too much if he can get a yellow flag and get that damage fixed in his Yukon Huskies machine.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. I think it's just a matter of he needs that caution. If this thing runs green, which it very well could, we're at Las Vegas. This is at Martinsville. I mean, this thing could run all green.
We got another
honestly,
pass for the lead, John. Missouri Tigers to the top spot.
Matthew Thunhorse making it work back. That lead changing hands a lot here in the early going, and that makes Mark Figueroa hungry now in that 0-0.
Mark Figueroa, John, his National Guard Chevy trying to spoil college night here in Las Vegas for ECR. And Charles Silver, nice. He didn't really block him. He just defended his position. A
Nice
good job by the
defensive
7
move
car.
there by Charles Silver. That's the kind of move you want to see early on in a race. Not a wall to apron block, but just a little show of the bumper there and let him know that he wasn't going to let him by and make him earn it.
And it's not going to, exactly what you said there, John. It's not going to hold the 0-0 back. Charles Silver really struggling there out in the tri-oval on the outside. That's one place you cannot be. You can't make it be fast on the outside of the tri-oval. You can in the turns, as he's seeing right here. Look at that run off turn 2 Charles Silver gets.
With this new rules package and the way you can pick up the throttle, the outside of that corner is pretty much like the straightaway never ends. You just pick it up just enough to get the front end to turn, and then you're back in it. But on the top side of that apron without the downforce, or the top side of the tri-oval, excuse me, that car can get a little bit. I don't even know if it's an aero loop.
Oh,
it just kind of kicks out. Speaking of
the
loose,
65 of Justin Bland really struggling with that car right now.
go back and
his
grab the
teammate
guy
in
for
the
quick
50.
replay. Just got it over rotated
Nice
on
grab.
exit. What a save by him, though. That's one of those things where the car, he mentioned it gets a little tight with that wind, and he just kept the wheel in it too long. When the wind stops, the back end comes right around. So good save there by the 65. He'll keep going. Only drops him back to 10th. Still 122 laps to go and they hit the line this time. So no risk for him just quite yet. I think the guy that needs the caution the most is Luis Almanzo. He's back to last place now. Continues to fall just a little bit.
Yeah, Jen, I feel for him. I mean, it's just nothing he can do there at all. So obviously I feel for him in 72, but he's been running good. He's been able to salvage everything he can. I know he's been really soaking in the whole Tony Stewart machine that he hasn't gotten a lot of luck, John, but he's been able to salvage everything he can. He's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, Luis has had some really bad breaks in the last few weeks. And wrecks that we mentioned last week at Martinsville caught up in 5 that just weren't his fault. And tonight, just, you know, maybe a little mental mistake by Wayne Wheeler, let the car roll just a little bit too much and just clipped Luis as he drove by. Certainly nothing intentional there, but Luis has recovered. I think he'll hang with it. He's never a guy to give up, and he's always in good spirits. So if he gets a few cautions, you know, drive that car back into the top 10, I think he'll be okay.
Absolutely, John. And Mark Figueroa still tries to work over Charles Silver, who's been hanging on that outside like a dog, John. He's been able to do a great job on that outside lane. The only spot he's really losing a lot of time is off 4, down into 1 on the front stretch. He's been able to lose a lot of time, but Mark Figueroa is sliding up a little bit. He's going to have to get out of it, and that's going to give Charles Silver a good run off turn 2 if he can make it stick.
And this is currently the battle for second place. Matthew Thunhorst hasn't really opened up much of a lead on these two while they're battling. These cars seem to be pretty evenly matched. Las Vegas is a track where a lot of guys can bring their best stuff, and looks like Matthew Thunhorst, again, he's got a good car, but he might have trouble pulling away with this one.
And John, you see Charles Silver is clear there, but he has to stay on that outside because any sudden movements to the bottom of the track is going to get him loose, and he has to really
way up the hill there.
Oh yeah, but he's going to be able to get a huge run off turn 2, John, if he can keep it on the outside of Figueroa.
And there's the crossover.
He lifts out of it there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to shut the door just a little bit. Thinking better of it here early on in the race. These guys don't want to go tear their stuff up. This is a very aerodynamic track with the amount of you're in the throttle here. So any chance you get to avoid contact is for the better. He thought better of the crossover there, maybe thinking Mark might return that little defensive move. And didn't want to get his nose chopped off just yet. So, Mark Figueroa touches the wall just a little bit getting into the corner. It's an odd place to have wall contact.
Well, John, it's not really here at Las Vegas. It's not common, but it's not it's impossible. I mean, you're coming back off the tri-oval up into the bank, and you're trying to get everything you can so you can arc it into the corner. So scraping that wall like that, it's not fun, but it's possible.
It certainly is, and it kind of goes unnoticed in a lot of mile-and-a-halfs because of the lack of progressive banking. You don't really want to get that big apex, but here, I mean, you really want to arc that car in. So you're right, these guys get up just as close as they can to that wall and might see some scraped up right sides at the end of the night.
Absolutely, John. And how about Anthony Fisher, Kevin Cook, and Rob Burns? They started 12th, 11th, and 10th, respectively, and they're currently running 5th, 6th, and 7th. All three of those guys really doing a great job moving up in the pack.
And Las Vegas is a track where you can really pass that. They're using that to their advantage. Once you get spread out, it gets a little bit harder, but when you're bunched up on those restarts, you can really, if you can get up in that high line or on that low line, wherever they're not, and make your car work, it really can work. And Anthony Fisher, I've been watching, running that middle line, he gets those big runs off, and he's catching that pack in front of him pretty quick.
And yeah, John, running that middle to low line is really going to help him in the long run, as he's going to be able to conserve those tires. And if we do get a long run like we seem to be having right now, it's going to really help him if we end up having green flag pit stops.
Yeah, Las Vegas, and if Aaron Berge were here, we'd be calling his name out in the lead, because it's one of those tracks where tire conservation is everything. Because you run so wide open and you ask so much of your car here, you really have to be wary of what you're doing to it. And you see these guys hitting their marks consistently every lap, making sure they don't wear those tires. And Anthony Fisher's running right in the middle, which is wearing both sides evenly. It's not really putting any extra stress on the right or the left, as running up high or low does. So good strategy by him here early on. If he needs to pass somebody, we might see him drift up or drift down. But good move by him, running that middle and then keeping that car kind of in the middle of the two packs right now.
Yeah, John, he's doing a great job right now. Nothing out of ordinary for Anthony Fisher. He's running 5th right now. He's having this good, solid run. But while this is all happening, John, Mark Figueroa has caught, and he's about to pass Matthew Dunhorst in that 6 machine, as he wants to spoil college night here in Las Vegas. We'll say it once, we'll say it again. Mark Figueroa and Chuck Carroll, the two guys looking to spoil the NCAA night here in Sid City.
Got 20 cars gridded, 18 of them had college paint schemes, and right now 2 of your top 5 are the 2 without it. So certainly looking to play spoiler tonight. One update I did want to mention, Luis Salmazo has pitted. He's just now rolling off pit road. Might have had something happen we didn't see. Currently 4 laps, going to be showing 3 laps down, 4 laps down when he comes back around. I don't see any excess damage to that race car, so maybe, I don't know what happened with Luis, but he's on pit road. He's 4 laps down, and not the start of the night he wanted at all. Back up to your leaders now, though. Matthew Thunhorst is going to have to battle. Mark Figueroa's got the car. I think right now the fastest car on the racetrack at this point in the run, not to say overall, but he's coming quick, and Matthew's going to have to wheel that thing to keep him off his bumper.
Oh, almost contact there. Figueroa seems to be getting into the corner a lot harder than Matthew Thunhorst, which is going to kill that right front, but save that right rear. And it's going to be the exact opposite for Thunhorst. He's going to be able to conserve that right front, but it's probably going to burn up his right rear as he's getting a lot faster on exit.
Yeah, I think Matthew right now isn't driving the car that hard. I think he's kind of got out in the lead. He's gotten into his saving
Charles
mode.
Silver through the grass.
Charles Silver, great job of hanging on to that race car.
He's going to have a lot of room to save it. Can he hold on? He does. Great job by Charles Silver.
Not even going to lose that many spots here as he falls back.
Oh, he's pushing in front of the 87.
Those tires have got to be burned off that race car.
Oh, yeah.
Just keeps it off the wall. His best move right now, I think, is to get out of the way here.
There. Yeah, he's just going to have to hold on, John, and conserve.
Showing AJ Scarborough with some serious internet issues. That could just be me, but if that's the case, keep an eye
I'm
on
seeing
that
it too. He has a little right front damage as well, John. He's been fast all week long, and he has a little right front damage. It's Mark Figueroa to the top spot, National Guard Chevrolet.
And as I thought, Matthew Thunhorst didn't put up too much of a fight. I think he's kind of in a save mode right now. He realizes that he's gotten that bonus point for the lap sled. If he's got the fastest race car at Las Vegas, more times than not, you're going to get the win. This isn't really a track where, you know, a guy can get up on the wheel and wheel his way to a win. This is really a car's track, and I think Matthew Thunhorst realizes that. He's kind of backed off, and he's just kind of running his own race.
Yeah, John, I think the way these two guys are driving, I think Matthews, it's not going to be long until he's able to pass Mark back with no contest, really. Figueroa just seems to be driving the car a lot harder than the 6 is, and I think that's going to hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, Mark's not really saving a whole lot, and if he is, he's got a really good car because he is driving that thing very, very hard. You know, we said that about Aaron Berge. Again, I go back to it last season towards the end of the Xfinity Series, where we just thought he was burning the wheels off of it and come into the race. He had the best tires on the track and an 8-second lead. So who knows? Mark Figueroa might just have the setup to go the distance here and make this setup work, but Matthew Thunhorst now staying right on his bumper and not letting him go anywhere.
Yeah, John, he's doing a great job right now. While this is all happening, I hate to go away from the lead, but we got a great battle from 4th on back to about 9th. Great battle for all these positions here as Anthony Fisher leads that pack.
Kevin Cook, we mentioned him coming up through the field just a little bit. He's kind of stalled out there in the 8th position, stuck between the USF and the Florida State car. So right now stuck in the middle of Florida, but he's getting his way up through the field in that Tennessee Tech number 45. And Charles Silver slow again on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to go back and take a look here.
Riding that high line like he is, or has been, it's going to hurt his right rear a little bit.
Right there, it looks like he got down on the flat part of the racetrack.
What a save, though. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he came back up, and it's like his car just didn't settle, and it kind of got hooked between the two lines there. Came around just a little bit. Good save. That's a scary moment when that happens. I've been there myself. And that is you just don't expect it. You're kind of off, mentally off through the trial here. You're not really expecting the car to snap. I know me and you both have had incidents where the car just steps out from under you. So good job of being aware and saving that race car. He'll lose some spots. He's back to 10th.
Don't even get me started about incidents at Las Vegas.
We've had our fair share here at Las Vegas. This is a very treacherous racetrack for what is such a simple racetrack to drive, really.
Yeah.
There's nothing
it's
to
just
it.
The fact that it's narrow, it's slick, and it's fast.
And it's
those
fairly
three things
flat, too.
It is, yeah. It's very fast, very flat for considering a 1.5 mile oval.
So Las Vegas doesn't get a lot of credit for when you compare this to an Atlanta or to a Texas. This is a very flat racetrack. It's got the progressive banking, but still, in comparison, it's very flat. Obviously, compared to a Martinsville, it's quite banked, but you don't really realize it until you go to a different track off of this one. You kind of start to see that this track's not difficult, but it's got its quirks. And
this track, John, I like to compare it to a Kansas. Kansas and Las Vegas are two very similar tracks.
It is very similar, almost like an updated version of Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas, obviously, a little bit older and a little bit rougher, but this track certainly, it's one of my favorite tracks. I know it's a love-hate type of track. I love this place because I don't have a lot of talent. I'm more of a track where the car likes to drive in a racing line, and this is one of those tracks. So,
well, John, one thing I'm watching, Matthew Thunhorse really isn't trying to pass Figueroa, but Chuck Harrell is the fastest car on the track right now, and he is coming with a whole head of steam, as well as Rob Burns in the 4th position. These guys are flying.
Again, I think it's almost these guys get to the lead and they kind of start saving their stuff. I don't know if they've overdriven it to get to the lead, but you're right. Every time these guys get out front, it seems like the 3rd and 4th place cars really pick up. And right now, Chuck Harrell is coming with a vengeance. He's gaining almost 2/10 a lap, and he'll be there. Oh,
Thunhorse kept the apron a little bit there. Well, John, the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that with this new rule package, you don't get a lot of speed. But the draft helps you a lot on the straightaways. And the draft pays huge dividends when you get into the corner. So when you don't have anybody in front of you, you just don't have the speed going into the straightaway, or going into the turns. I think that's why you saw Mark Figueroa go so fast on entry.
It's very difficult, you mentioned, with the horsepower reduction. A lot of your horsepower above what you really have in the race car comes from that draft. You can pick up almost 10 miles an hour down the straightaways here with that draft. So when you have that draft right now that Chuck Harrell has, he's able to get up there and he's catching them very quick because the guys in front, once you kind of get up behind the car, the draft kind of falls off. You kind of catch the end of that pocket. But right now Chuck Harrell's in the perfect spot. I mean, he's just using both these cars' draft and gaining really quick. Wayne Willard coming back on track. He's showing, what now, 30 laps down in the 19th position. And
John, it's very refreshing for a long green flag run like we're having right now. A lot of fun to watch these guys have a lot of green flag racing as opposed to last week. As next time by, John, we're going to have only 100 laps to go.
Time is ticking by. Wow, what a move there, Chuck Harrell crossing over Matthew Thunhorst. He tried to go up, I think, on Mark Figueroa, and Chuck Harrell just put it low and made the pass for the 2nd position. That was fun to watch there.
And he's able to make it stick, John. Look at the run he gets off turn 2. Probably the best corner I've seen all week long.
Chuck Harrell now, and that Skull Bandit number 88 is going to be there. It just depends. See him backing off here on corner entry. He's going to look for that run, and I think if he can make it stick, he's going to have it.
And how about these two guys spoiling NCAA night here in Sin City? National Guard and Skull Bandit, those two guys trying to show these kids at college what's up.
Yeah, 19 cars gridded tonight, folks. 17 race cars have a college-themed paint scheme for the Final Four week here, the men's and the women's, here in NCAA. And the 2 cars in the lead right now are the National Guard and the Skull Bandits. So they are certainly playing spoiler here to Las Vegas night, here on college night in Las Vegas. And it'll be fun to see if they can make it work. I think they got the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. Chuck Harrell kind of stalled out there in the 2nd spot, maybe saving his stuff. And Matthew Thunhorst certainly not out of it by any means.
Oh, Chuck, I don't know if he threw a block right there or what happened. The banking brought him up, but cut the 6 off, and I think it slowed him down a little bit. But look at the run he gets to the center in 1 and 2. Wow. And that, John, it's not really Chuck going faster. It's Mark going so fast on entry that he has to slow the car so much down in the center that he's gaining or losing a lot of time in the center off.
And you can see here on the roof cam just how big the interval gets on entry and then how much it closes up on exit. He's losing almost 2 car lengths to him on entry, and then almost something else I've noticed is Mark's really turning the race car off the top of the corner. He's not letting it wash out a lot, and that's going to really hurt the right front. Here, Chuck Harrell's going to drive him hard into turn 1. Can't really make it stick. I think he's got the faster car. He's just got to find a way to pass him.
Well, John, what you start doing when you're behind somebody for X amount of laps is that you try to start running their line, and that's really, I think, what the problem with Chuck is right now. Is he's trying to run Mark's line and trying to drive it in too hard. I think once he realizes what he's doing and he goes back to running his own line, I think it's just a matter of time until he makes the pass for the lead.
One of the things I've always thought was so underappreciated in the real sport of NASCAR is how hard it is to catch a guy running one line, get to him, and then completely change your line to pass him. And it's something that people like Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr. are so good at doing, is they can run you for 25, 30 laps on a track like Las Vegas, following your line exactly, and then at the drop of a hat, wash all the way up the track to the wall, run that for 10 laps, and pass you. And that's so difficult to do just mentally. And now we got a pass for the lead. Chuck Harrell's going to go ahead and take it, because it's so hard to just change your line like that.
Grass, John.
He did. Dale
hit
Jr.
the
to clip the
grass.
glass just a little bit.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's going to cause that car to get loose, and he had to run at the lead, and now he's going to drop all the way back to third as Matthew Thunhorse going to get stick on the outside.
Well, it all goes for naught, John, if you can't complete the pass like Chuck Harrell had a little trouble doing right there.
And that's such a frustrating experience. You worked him over for 15 laps, finally got to him, and just slipped. And now you got to go back, start all over. Now you're probably going to have to pass 2 race cars, as Matthew Thunhorse now wants apart. Mark Figueroa just can't get away from these guys.
Well, John, like I said, it just goes back to the draft and how much it plays into a factor here. Figueroa really slides up right there. These guys are going to be side by side when they get up to him. Harrell's backed off.
Chuck Harrell thought about backing off, and now he is going to lift out of it. Thought he might duck low for a second there. Mark Figueroa's kind of trying that higher line. I don't know if he's sensing something with the setup that's maybe going away. He's pushed up quite a few times. I think he's just experimenting right now, and these guys got to capitalize if they want to get past him. He's not really as fast as he has been, and these guys still just aren't able to find that line to pass him.
John, right now, while these three are really battling, the fastest car on track is probably the guy who's had the most trouble so far today is Justin Bland in the 65, up to 4th place. Really making moves, and he's gaining almost 2/10 a lap on these 3 racing for the lead.
See, Thunhorse there, I think, just let Chuck Harrell go by the sounds of his throttle there.
Yeah.
I think someone called in the chat there being very conservative right now. I don't think he's trying to use up that stuff. He's had his runs here. I think he's known he's going to be consistently at the front. It's not a one-off thing like we thought it was his first week. He's going to be up there in the top 5 pretty much every week, and kind of buying this time here. You mentioned Justin Bland, though, in 4th. He's kind of got himself gapped out there. There's no one really around him pressuring him, so he can run his line, figure it out. Really the best spot to be, I think, early on in a run is with no one around. You can kind of feel your setup out, know what you got for later on.
Well, John, you say earlier on the run, but we're closing in on green flag pit stops here. Probably not too long, 15, 20 laps before these guys bring her down on pit road. I mean, we're on lap 44 already. It doesn't seem like it.
Time certainly flying by after last week's, I don't even know, shenanigans at Martinsville with the 20 caution flags. Tonight, nice green flag run to start it off. We mentioned last week, folks, this is the general type of racing you see here at ECR. It's not quite the caution fest we had last week. Very good running by these guys early on. We saw the one incident with Wayne Willard early, but he's back out on track, showing 31 laps down currently in the 19th position. No caution for that, so we've run all laps green here, working lap 45, 44 that time by.
Yeah, John, 90 laps to go that time by, and you mentioned right there the problems with Wayne Willard. I think it's more of a problem for Luis Samazo because he had still a pretty darn good chance at a good finish, and the caution flag never flew, and he still just had to pit it and really cost him 4 laps.
Yeah, he's still showing 4 laps down in that 18th spot. Not quite like Martinsville last week where you're going to get the cautions to get that lucky dog. Luis really dug himself a hole. It's going to be hard to get out of it, not impossible. But he's going to have to get some really, really, really well-timed caution. Right now he's between 2 Alabama cars, a 33 Corey Chafin and that 49 Aaron Vincent, stuck right in the middle of the Alabama party and trying to find some room to run that car and maybe learn some stuff for next year. Just a quick update on the intervals here. Your leaders, Mark Figueroa, and then 3/10 and 8/10 back to Chuck Harrell and Matthew Thunhorse, respectively. They've gapped the field by almost 4 seconds back to Justin Bland in that 4th position. So these 3, right now the 3 to watch, no one's even close to touching them. If this thing runs green, they should all 3 drive away with it. I don't think it'll run green. We always have green flag pit stops. Right now these 3 are the cars to beat.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And as soon as I mentioned Justin Bland really coming with a head of steam, he seems to be stalling out. But that could be a factor that these three aren't racing each other as hard anymore. They're really buying their time. But Justin Bland's still a very fast car right now. Matthew George's teammate in the 50 also maybe is something with the setup over there at Justin Bland Racing that seems to be better on the long runs.
Justin Bland's in one of those spots that we always see a lot over these longer
And AJ
races.
Scarborough coming down pit road, John. Green flag pit stops.
Early pit stops here for AJ Scarborough. Well, not that early, I suppose. It's coming up. It certainly doesn't feel like it, but it is coming up on green flag pit stops. That FSU car, you can see a little bit of right front damage, nothing too bad. He'll bring it down to the attention of his service, or his team, and he should fall back to about 17th after service is completed.
And John, he was 6.5 seconds, behind the leader. George Price also making his pit stop. He's
And
exiting
here
pit
comes
road.
your points
But-
leader, Anthony Titchener, bringing it down as well. Or excuse me,
Yeah,
he's coming
just
off
gonna say,
pit
John.
road.
Oh wow,
So
we're
his
way
stop
off, John.
completed already.
AJ Scarborough, though, John, I think it's a good decision by him and Anthony Titchener to pit early, as opposed to these guys are probably going to gain close to, my guess, half a second a lap on these guys at least, maybe even more than closer to a second a lap, which could really pay off in the end.
And these guys were far enough up in the field that I think
And
this
Chuck
is going to
Harrell's coming
force.
down.
Yeah, this is going to force the leader's hands. You cannot, once cars from 7th, 8th position start pitting, it's really time to bring the car down because you're giving up, as you mentioned, half a second a lap. Chuck Harrell on pit road. So that'll put Matthew Thunhorst up to 2nd position now. Justin Bland up to 3rd. He'll stay out here. So green flag pit stop's well underway. Anthony Titchener, I believe, was the first car on and off pit road. He's showing a lap down. Sean Medling also on pit road. Kevin Cook coming off pit road.
And our leader, Mark Figueroa, and Matthew Thunhorst both coming down pit road right now. And look at the gap close on Matthew Thunhorst right there.
What a
And
great
that
pit
could pay,
stop.
that could pay dividends in the long run, John.
Doesn't seem like much, but that's a
And
full
Nick
2
Groff
seconds
stays
right
out
there.
and leads a lap right there.
So Nick Groff
19.
to the point here, that number 19 Iowa State Cyclones car to the point. Taking a bit of a risk here, a bit of a gamble. Mark Figueroa looks like will cycle. Chris Sercoy also staying out, along with Corey Chapin in that number 33 Alabama car. So these guys staying out, maybe hoping for a caution, maybe just kind of on a fuel strategy, or maybe feeling out their cars still. Not a lot to lose. Charles Silver's on
Great.
pit road.
Green flag, and Nick Groff still stays out. That's going to really hurt him. He's going to need a caution, hopefully here soon for him anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough call there on Nick Groff. I don't know what position he was running in prior, but there's not a whole lot to gain. We've kind of cycled through, and green flag pit stops don't look like they're going to bring in a caution. So if they do, good call on his part. But right now, it's kind of risky. You're losing quite a bit of time and risk going a lap down here if you stay out too long.
Yeah, John, the 3 cars that have stayed out so far, definitely a gamble on their part as they're being passed by guys who have already pitted for position. I mean, this is really going to pay dividends for them. Only 3
Chafin
cars.
coming to pit road here. The only thing I think now is Nick Groff and Chris Sercoy are just on that gambling strategy for a caution. There's not a whole lot left fuel-wise to run. Now there's not really a fuel window they're trying to put themselves in. So right now it looks like they're just going for that caution. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's, track position, but certainly risky.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of, John, is if to make it 4 matters, is these guys can go 67 laps, but I don't think they can go 67 laps. And now here on the radio, leader Nick Groff is pitting this time.
Something to keep an eye on here as we cycle back around. Chuck Harrell has taken the lead from Mark Figueroa, so Chuck Harrell will be your leader when we cycle. That'll put Matthew Thunhorst currently all over Mark Figueroa for 2nd place, and then all the way back to Anthony Titchener, I believe, going to be 3rd. Or 4th.
And John, I think that's just a factor of him pitting just that 1 lap prior, gaining that half a second, whatever it may be, on those other 2 drivers.
Yeah, Anthony Titchener, a really smart move there. Obviously, we know he's one of the smarter guys down there in the garage when it comes to thinking out these races before they even get on the grid, really. I mean, Anthony Titchener puts in countless hours. Not that all these guys don't, but Anthony Titchener really goes to the extremes with figuring out these cars and these tracks and these setups. And it's showing here is he pitted when he thought he could, and it's gained him 2 or 3 spots here going forward.
And Chris Sercoy, John, is, I believe, the 7th driver to lead a lap tonight, and his number 42. George Mason Patriots machine. So his green and yellow bright machine takes the lead right there. For the time being, obviously still has to make that green flag pit stop.
So that'll cycle your, well, no, excuse me, Chris Sercoy, you're right, has stayed out. So Chuck Harrell is 2nd place now. Get a little bit clearer of a picture for the lead. Now Chris Sercoy's in a spot where when he pits, he'll go a lap down because these drivers have currently unlapped themselves. So Again, the risk-reward of staying out, and Christopher Coy knows that. He's certainly no rookie. He knows what he's doing, and he's just hoping for that caution.
And John, if a caution can come out here rather soon, Luis Salmazo would get a little break, I guess. He's only 3 laps down right now.
Christopher Coy.
It could help him out.
Oh, Stephen Massey spinning. Through the grass again for Stephen Massey, that Tennessee machine, and another great save. We're going to go back and take a look there. I just don't think he saw the other car pitting, maybe? Go on board here and see what he saw through his nose camera. Just looked like he had to pick up at the last second there and just lost it just a little bit. Tough break there.
That's exactly what it looks like there.
So Stephen Massey is second wild ride of the night.
And John, these guys entered pit road. Mark Figueroa first, Matthew Dunhorse second, Chuck Harrell third. And since Chuck Harrell was the first one on pit road, that helped him out just that much. And he's the leader now with Mark Figueroa second, Matthew Dunhorse third as they cycle around. Green flag pit stops have been completed as we'll take a run down through the field.
As you mentioned, Chuck Harrell first, Mark Figueroa second, Matthew Dunhorse third. Anthony Thichner up to fourth. I believe he was in fifth or sixth before green flag pit stop started. He pitted early. Good move by him there. And Justin Bland only fell back to fifth and around at your top 5.
In sixth, John, Matthew George in the 50. He's been running good. Been in that front part of the top 10 all night long. Charles Silver in the seventh, in the seventh, North Carolina Tar Heels machine. He's been fast all night long, John. He led laps early on. He's in seventh right now. And Rob Burns, who seems to be really fast on the long runs here. He's running eighth with Kevin Cook ninth. And Nick Groth, I believe, will cycle through into 10th place.
AJ Scarborough in that 11th position, Stephen Massey in the 12th after 2 wild rides to the grass. He's held on to that Tennessee Volunteers machine. Only in the 12th position, not too bad after the night he's had. Aaron Vincent in 13th and Corey Chafin in 14th in the Alabama Crimson Tide machine going to round out your top 14. Christopher Coy, George Price, and Luis Salmazo. Christopher Coy, George Price a lap down. Luis Salmazo 3 laps down. Sean Medley, not sure what happened there. He's 8 laps down. And Wayne Willard still struggling after his early incident. He is 34 laps down in 19th position.
Yeah, John, Sean Medling is at 8 laps now, and George Price is also on pit road right now with major front-end damage in his Army machine. Not sure what happened, didn't hear anything on the radio chatter. Not sure what happened to that 48 machine and the 37 as well, but Luis Salmazo has to be loving it as he's going to gain at least one more position. He's going to go up to 16th.
Yeah, tough break for those guys. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any smoke, anything on the racetrack, so I'm not sure what happened to those 2 drivers there. It'd be interesting to find out maybe for next week after the race what happened and get a report on that. But your top 3 still dominating, almost 5-second gap over Anthony Thichner here, first, second, and third. We mentioned these are pretty much the cars to beat. Now we get to kind of see what they really have. They just pitted. They're all on fresh tires, pretty much all in the same cycle of tires here. I think you mentioned Chuck Harrell maybe pitted a lap earlier. So these guys pretty much all have the same things, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out of this battle on top for the next green flag pit stops.
Yeah, John, great racing by everybody involved right now. Chuck Harrell's leading. I mean, I feel like he's in the catbird seat right now. I think Matthew Dunhorse has to be the guy to watch, though. I mean, he's been conserving his tires, hasn't pushed too hard whatsoever. Made a couple adjustments on those green flag pit stops that's going to help his car, hopefully for the better. And that 6th car, I think, is going to be the one to watch.
Just by watching the lines they're running, I think Matthew Dunhorse has the fastest car. I think he's doing a lot of lifting on exit. I don't think he's full throttle through the middle. I really do think just by watching how smooth and consistent their lines are, see a pass for the lead now, Mark Figueroa and Chuck Harrell are going to do battle. I think Matthew Dunhorse has the fastest car. I think it's just a matter of not waiting too long and not being able to get to the front.
Yeah, John, I don't think Figueroa is going to be able to make a stick out there. He's going to get the run off the corner, but what a slide job by Chuck
crossover
Harrell.
move there.
Wow. What a battle for the lead, John, here we got going on. Just gonna, they almost do it.
72 laps to go, folks. This is not the final lap, and these guys racing like it all over each other. Mark Figueroa grabs the lead for now, but I don't think Chuck Harrell will let that stand for long.
What a battle for the lead here, John, in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Mark Figueroa to the top point, Chuck Harrell second, and Matthew Dunhorse is lurking right behind.
Looking back here on 2 of these guys that have had a bit of issues tonight. Nick Ross with the pit stop cycle issue, and then AJ Scarborough with the right front damage, battling for the 10th and 11th position. That's for your top 10 spot there. AJ Scarborough to get it for now in that Florida State Seminole number 5, but Nick Ross still battling on the outside. Looks like crossing him over just a little bit, and those guys will keep fighting it out.
Oh, Chuck Harrell. The one thing I'm watching, John, Chuck Harrell is really struggling right now after he got past Feliz, letting the 6 go there. He seems to be really tight off the corner, and by tight, I mean he's a tight loose. He's so tight, he pushes it to the corner, or pushes to the wall. We talk about it a lot here on MOTV, but he pushes to the wall, and he has so much wheel in it that the car just gets loose on him.
You know, one thing I noticed with Chuck is that issue only seems to happen when he's behind cars. We haven't talked a lot about dirty air, but when we got a smoke somewhere on the racetrack. And that's the 0-1 of Wayne Willard, maybe? He's exiting pit road.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But yeah, Chuck Harrell seems like when he's out front, he's okay, but when he gets back there and he gets a little bit of air on the nose, and these cars, obviously, with the reduced downforce in the back, kind of get aero tight, almost like an Indy car would with the aero push. He kind of struggles to keep the car down. So out in front, he's okay. But once he gets back here, he seems to struggle. Now he's fallen almost a second. Now it is a second off the lead. See, the battle on track right now, 11th through 14th, or 11th through 13th, these guys duking it out just a little bit.
Yeah, John, great battles all the way on track right now. Justin Bland and Matthew George seem to be struggling on the early portions of the run. They seem to really excel on the last portion of the green flag runs.
I'd really be interested to see if Stephen Massey can catch a caution at some point, get himself caught up back up to the field. He was obviously qualified very well on the pole, and has just struggled ever since. He's fallen back to 12th. He took two rides that we know of through the grass, maybe more that we missed. So he's got that Tennessee car, I think, hooked up. He's just got to get it, settled back in here. He's got to get himself a caution and back with the field. It'd be interesting to see what he can do. For right now, though, he's struggling back in that 12th position.
Yeah, John, these guys really seem to be strutting out. I think some of the adjustments they made on pit road, not sure if the adjustments the 6 and the 88 made hurt their car, or if the ones the 00 made just helped him excel that much more. But some of the adjustments probably hurt some of these guys.
One guy that's making moves with those adjustments right now is our favorite Chatters car, number 7 of Charles Silver. Nick Olson, obviously the owner of that car, one of our favorite guys every night to come out and talk in the text box with us here on Twitch. And right now, Charles Silver making moves. He's up into the 6th position, setting his sights now on Justin Bland. I think within reach, only about 7/10 ahead.
Looking all the way over the place, John, we got some cars about to go a lap down. Corey Chaffin in the 33, only about half a straightaway in front of Mark Figueroa. He's going to be the next guy to go a lap down, which stinks for the 42 of Chris Roy, which makes him staying out longer just that much worse, because he's going to lose that coveted lucky dog spot, and he won't be able to get back on the lead lap if caution were to come out.
That's a tough break for Chris Roy. I'm not sure where he would have been had he not stayed out and he had pitted on cycle, but it's always curious to me that early in a race, because you can stay out and you can put yourself in a bad spot really for the rest of the race. If you do it on the last green flag pit stop, it's really a last-ditch effort, but I think early on, you kind of work on your car and you adjust and you kind of stay on cycle, but stayed out and he's paying the price for it now. Maybe it's not over yet. It's not a lap down yet, but looks like it's going to be a loss there for Chris Roy on that strategy. One thing, Colin, I think you'd like to note, and probably a lot of people at home as well, I know Alabama's not the favorite school by any means here in our college theme night. 2 Alabama cars, currently the last 2 cars on the lead lap, that 49 and that 33, so for all you Alabama haters at home, you might like that a little bit. I know they're kind of the Yankees of college football, but right now they're running 13th and 14th, up in the 12th position, Stephen Massey in that Tennessee car, Nick Groth in the Iowa State car, A.J. Scarborough in that Florida State car, all outside the top 9 there.
Yeah, John, and how about these spoilers up front? Matthew Tunhorse is representing the entire NCAA right now as he's running second, which seems to be his position for the season here at ECR Cup Series. Matthew Tunhorse in the Missouri Tigers machine running second right now. In between, it seems to be a spoiler sandwich between the National Guard and Skull Bandit.
Yeah, rough night for the NCAA. You expect to see these cars with these beautiful paint schemes that they provided. I think you said Luis Salmazo and Aaron Vincent provided, or who was it exactly, just so I get the names right?
Nick Giles.
Nick Giles provided. And, you expect to see these guys run well and do well. And not that they aren't, but the 2 guys that decided not to get themselves a college paint scheme, plain spoiler, 1st and 3rd, and not really getting a whole lot of looks at these pretty paint schemes tonight.
John, you mentioned Charles Silver and running in 6th place. He just made a pass on Justin Bland. That was 5th.
Charles Silver is up to 5th, so Nick Olson's got to be going crazy right now. His car back into the top 5. Got a ways to go before he catches 4th place Anthony Titchener, who's another guy that's kind of been under the radar since that green flag pit stop. He's in 4th. He's about 2 seconds ahead of that 5th place number 7 car. Battle on track right now, trying to find you one here. Matthew George kind of stuck in a sandwich here. Penn State car and that USF car, he's kind of battling his way forward, looking for that 6th position from Justin Bland. Justin Bland struggling just a little bit, our in-race reporter tonight.
Yeah, John, he was 6th in practice, he was 6th in the grid, and he's 6th in the race right now. A consistent night, but obviously not what he wanted after running in 4th place the majority of the night.
No, you talked to him pre-race, he sounded pretty confident. He said that the track kind of changed with the wind conditions and made his car a little bit better. He thought he might have something for those front runners, if not for a top 5. Right now he's hanging on to 6th, and that 50 car, Matthew George, is coming in a hurry.
Which I'm not really sure what happened to the 6 and the 88, but that 00 has pulled away. And is putting on a clinic now, so we're just past halfway. He's out there, and we got car in the wall. It's Sean Medley in the 37.
Sean Medley up hard into the wall. George Price just mentioned in our chat just now, speaking of incidents, he blew up tonight. So not sure what happened. George is going to give us an update in the chat. We can fill in the stream on just exactly what happened. But George Price's night is done, seemingly for the evening. But your leader, Mark Figueroa, is still playing spoiler tonight. We're going to step away just for a few seconds. We can take a break here on MOTV and give you guys a quick commercial break. So we'll be back in just 60 seconds. I promise you won't miss anything. Alrighty guys, welcome back here. ECR Cup race number 6 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And just after that commercial break, I do want to take a second to give a huge thank you again to Luis Salmazone and Aaron Vincent for their generous donation over the last few weeks. Again, Colin and I obviously never started this for money, but the fact that you guys enjoy this enough to donate. And we do have caution on the racetrack.
Caution is out. Wayne Willard in the 0-1.
His tough night gets worse.
Wow.
That's the 3rd time I've had that spiel interrupted. I need to stop thanking people, but Wayne Willard, tough night gets worse. He spins out. I don't think he caught anybody else in that. We'll go back and take a quick look. His car was spinning well before anybody got to him. Go back and even further. Caution came out well after he actually spun. He was spinning for quite a while there. Looks like he just got down, clipped the apron. Probably not all the way up on the mental cues here, being that wrecked and that many laps down. Spun it, nasty spin across the track, caught the wall even more.
And John, I just want to point out that this has turned into a fuel mileage race, perhaps.
We are right on the edge.
After we pit here, I think I'm going to try to get a word with our in-race reporter, Justin Bland, and see what he thinks. But perhaps a fuel mileage event here coming down, as Chris Sercoy looks to be staying out there as well, I believe, is Luis Salmazone.
Chris Sercoy staying out, I believe. Yeah, he's a lap down, so pit road closed for him. Luis Salmazone as well. So a whole field on pit road here. All the leaders. We go up to Mark Figueroa, sliding into his pit box here. Good pit stops by all your front runners. Chuck Harrell, the 6th Matthew Thunhorse, and the 00 Mark Figueroa. Good pit stops all around by everybody here. Stephen Massey, your pole sitter. See if you can put that pole box to good use. And as always here on ECR, we're going to hop on board our brand new pit lane camera and give you guys a view of the race off pit road.
Yeah, John, we haven't yet to use it all night long, but Figueroa, Matthew Thunhorse, Chuck Harrell, Charles Silver gains a spot on pit road. He's going to beat out Anthony Titchener, Justin Bland, 6th, Matthew George, 7th, Rob Burns, 8th, and Aaron Vincent on nowhere is in 9th right now. He's gained 4 spots on pit road that time by.
Yeah, good move by Aaron Vincent coming up through the field there. Bold move, and certainly I doubt he took 2, but a good pit stop, certainly.
Mm-hmm. All right, John, let's see if we can get a word here with our in-race report of the 65 car, Justin Bland. Hey, Justin Bland, you got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, bud, I got you.
Hey, man, you've been consistently fast all night. You're running 6th right now. You've been running 6th seemingly all night long, going back all the way to practice, but you're running consistently. I mean, you're not having a bad run. But one thing we talked about is that this thing could turn into a fuel mileage race. Are you seeing something like that?
If we go green from here on out, it will become a fuel mileage race. If my calculations are right, we'll make it 58 laps, and that's just about where we'll be when we go green. So it's going to depend on who can save gas and who can make it the rest of the way. Can't push the car too hard and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're running good. Your 65 car is running good. What you seeing tonight that's going to help you throughout the rest of the evening?
Right now, it's just conserving tires, honestly. The car handles really good on the long run, so if we can go green the rest of the way, I feel really confident about me and Matthew can do. Both of our carbs seem to kick in about 30, 40 laps into a run, so if we can go green the rest of the way, we may have a chance at a top 5, maybe even higher than that. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, hopefully this isn't the last time we talk to you tonight. Justin Bland running 8th right now, and 7th right now, and his number 65, South Florida Machine. Thank you for talking to us tonight, buddy.
Yes, sir.
That is, as he mentioned, the number 65 USF car. One of the guys trying to keep College Night alive here tonight. We mentioned our current leader, Mark Figueroa, trying to spoil the dream. Actually showing 2nd, Christopher Coy showing 1st. It's got some kind of bug there.
Yeah, I think it's just a bug on iRacing because he's behind the rest of the field right now, but not sure what's going on there.
Well, while this cycles through, I'll finish my little spiel I was given there. Just a huge thank you again to Aaron Vincent, Luis Samazo. We never got into this for anything like that, but the fact that you guys come out every night and watch it, and the fact that they felt generous enough to donate it still blows our minds here at MOTV, and we thank ECR for letting us come on here and broadcast these. We do this for fun, and certainly never expected anything like what's happened with the outpouring of support and stuff. If you guys are interested, all the links to everything is down below, to our Twitters and the donation page, everything like that. But we thank you guys again for coming out and just hanging out with us and supporting it. We love doing this. We're both going to school for it, and we really enjoy coming on here and talking with you guys every night. So, interesting choice here. Mark Figueroa, I think, took the outside lane.
Yeah, John, that's something I've been seeing a lot all week long here. These guys are really liking the outside line.
Something bugged here. We're delayed green. Christopher Coy's parked on the bottom of the track. Might be something with iRacing here.
I'm wondering if maybe Lucky Dogs were turned on and the race control gave them a Lucky Dog.
Very well might have happened there because Christopher Coy was showing a lap ahead of the field actually in 1st. So we'll get this fixed up here, guys, and we'll get you back to green. But fun night so far here. We've only had the one caution. We're coming up under 50 laps to go. We mentioned a fuel mileage race. This actually helps quite a bit, this extra caution lap. So maybe a few guys out there with a sigh of relief. Obviously, it's a virtual racing, so the car's always full of fuel. All these guys had the same amount of fuel. And going forward, it'll be fun to see if anyone tries to stretch it. We get another caution. We throw it all out the window like we normally do, or if we'll have someone run on the last lap. So a lot of storylines to play out here. So we got one more lap of caution to go here.
Yeah, John, I just want to point out that these drivers are doing an admirable job of putting last week behind them and showing everybody that that was a fluke. And they're doing a great job tonight. We said a long green flag run, over almost 80 laps. So these guys in ECR are doing a great job of putting on a great show for you fans at home, right here on MOTV, John, live every Tuesday night, 9:23 p.m.
We are live here every Tuesday night, 9:23, as Colin said, here on MOTV, broadcasting the ECR race. We do other races outside of this. They are on different channels. You can follow the @MOTV_online Twitter for all the details on those, as well as Colin and I's Twitter's all down below. But as we get ready to go green here, as you said, a fuel mileage race. Mark Figueroa takes the outside line. Going to be interesting to see. I think we get another caution, to be honest with you. I think the racing's just getting ready to ramp up. Could throw this all out the window, but if we don't, do you think someone tries to stretch it?
Hang on, we're not going green.
Absolutely, we got another delayed green. Something's not right here. The 42 has to.
42 still showing in the lead. I'm not sure what happened with that.
He has to get off the track.
Yeah, he might have to pull down pit road here to reset this. Remember, guys, this is virtual racing. It's sometimes a little bit buggy with computers are involved, but we'll get this sorted out here. The 42, I think, is going to have to cycle back down pit road to reset iRacing's scoring. It can be a little weird sometimes. So a little bit of an admin bug. Thank goodness we haven't had many cautions, so this hasn't had the opportunity to happen. But You mentioned, Colin, really quick, I wanted to touch on, coming off last week, 20 cautions for 96 laps and only a 250-lap event, I think it was. Not what you want to see out of any racing, especially as much work as Anthony and these guys put into this. But an admirable job of Anthony Thitchner, the league owner, of stepping up last week. He gave a really good talking to these guys after the race about respect and give and take and so on. And I think really changed a lot of their mindsets on racing. And a great job by him to step up and to make those calls as the league president and as a driver. I mean, he drives in this series every week. He doesn't want to go out there and run 20 cautions a race. So a great job by him and these guys responding really, really well to that criticism, stepping up to the plate, and they're doing really well so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Doing a great job. And I do want to touch on, we talking about college night here, NCAA night all week long here at ECR. UConn UConn women's national team has just won the national championship for a 10th time in the last 15 years. So doing a great job over there. Congratulations to them as college night continues here on ECR.
I got to ask, what was the final score of that game?
63-53, a lot closer than a lot of people
Really?
thought.
I was expecting a 30-point
close
blowout.
game.
UConn rolls people, but good game there. UConn, Luis Salmazo not having the night that the UConn women's teams had, but he's hanging in there 4 laps down our UConn car tonight, number 72, Luis Salmazo.
No Notre Dame cars here tonight.
Might have been one, did it, Colin?
And no Duke or Wisconsin either. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Surprised more about the Duke than anything.
Yeah,
Duke, usually one of the top 3 most popular.
We got UNC car. I kind of wish we had a Duke out there for those guys to, duke it out, no pun intended.
It's been a long night, folks.
Here we go, John.
Getting ready to go green here. The issues have been sorted out. Mark Figueroa did take the outside lane. Here we go, back under green.
48 to go, John. 48 laps to go. What a great restart on that outside line. Very surprising. I've seen a lot of guys take it. I don't know if it's going to help them enter into one or what, but those guys have really been able to enjoy that outside lane on a restart. Charles Silver up in 3rd place. Chuck Carroll right behind him in 4th.
Might be a little bit of wheel spin on the bottom, Colin, to be honest with you.
With the wheel turned as much as it is, it's very possible.
Yeah, the outside lane might get a little less wheel spin, although we did see Wayne Willard stack the field on the restart, so I'm not sure, maybe just a preference thing. Back to the field, some battles going on here. This for the 8th position. Number 12 for Rob Burns, number 5 to AJ Scarborough battling that 19 car. That's a good little battle going on there. That's for some positions to put yourself in a position to make a run at this. You see Stephen Massey got that caution. He's up into the top 10.
Oh, Anthony Fisher pushes for 3rd place. He's going to push Charles Silver to the outside. Chuck Carroll's going to hopefully... Oh, Charles Silver, the crossover. Chuck Carroll wants on the inside of him. Great battle here for 3rd place, John.
That's a respectful move there by Charles Silver. He thought of the crossover there. He saw Chuck Carroll was closing behind him and didn't want to cause a 3-wide situation, was my thinking there. Good respectful racing by the 7 there to realize what point we are in the race and not let tempers take over with that little bit of a slide job by Anthony there. But good battle there. Anthony Thitchner takes the 3rd position and looking for a part of this lead.
And John, we talked about late last green flag run that Chris Coy was going to lose the Lucky Dog spot. He ended up not losing the Lucky Dog spot. Corey Chaffin stayed on the lead lap, and both those guys are still on the lead lap right now, running 14th and 15th respectively.
So Christopher Coy's strategy didn't necessarily work out and gain him anything, but it certainly didn't lose him anything. So the gamble, pretty much a risk-free gamble for him tonight. So playing those Vegas odds, a good move on his part, and it turns out to work all right.
And John, out of nowhere, we talked about him all the time. We talk about him, and all of a sudden, Anthony Thitchner's there.
And he's the kind of driver that he'll pass both these cars in 5 laps and he's got the car to do it. He does not wait. He's not patient. And he doesn't have to be because he has the car to pass.
I don't think he has the car to do it. I don't think he does.
Tonight,
he has
probably
the skill.
not.
I just don't think he has the car to do it. He doesn't have the setup. He's been struggling at Vegas. He's been looking forward to Texas. He gets loose right there.
Yeah, he's certainly going to wheel that car. You mentioned he might not have the car to handle his talent level. He's a very good driver, and the car might not be able to keep up with it. That always makes for a fun battle towards the finish. But he's got the he's certainly got the wheelmanship to go out there and do it. It's just not that type of track where I think you can make a bad car good.
Absolutely, John. And you see Mark Figueroa taking the defensive line into turn 3. It's nothing new here at ECR. These guys don't want to give up any sort of spot. Nick Grotha battling back there. I think that's for 8th place. Nick Grotha and Stephen Massey. Those guys have been running side by side the last 3 or 4 laps.
Matthew Thunhorse, when I got up into the wall, lost a lot of momentum, and Anthony Thitchner is going to clear him down on the turn 1 for P2.
He's going to slide up, John, and I think Thunhorse is going to cross him over.
That car is just not holding the bottom for Anthony at all.
No.
He's pushing so bad off the corners.
And that goes back to that tight loose situation, John. I think he's, he's like he's the guinea pig of it all right now. He's the guy that's been really struggling with it all night long.
And you mentioned tight loose. It's pretty much a situation where your car's tight, and so you put more wheel into it to turn it, and therefore makes the car loose. But it's hard to find the balance of how much throttle to use to turn the race car as opposed to steering. Because when you have a tight car, steering really doesn't turn the car. It's more of your throttle control. So kind of got to feel that out. He's had the cleanest air he's had all night. He's only got one car in front of him. Give him some time. I think he'll manage it. But right now, struggling a little bit with that 87 South Carolina machine.
Hey, John, he's doing a very good job. But I'll tell you what, who's loving all this right now is Mount Figueroa. I don't think Anthony Fisher has the car to compete for a win. I think the only two guys that do are Matthew Fenhorst and Chuck Carroll, the two guys that have been doing it all night long. So I think Mark Figueroa having that Anthony Fisher in between those two drivers, I think that's going to really help him out. We got Cart up in the wall. Not sure who that is. I think it's Rob Burns from 12. Oh, we got Cart wrecking in the back. Aaron Vincent, Nick Groth spinning down off turn 2. Aaron Vincent trying to hold it down, the 49 car.
Tough break there. The 50 involved as well. Gonna go back and take a look for you here, folks. Tight racing. The 49 just comes up and turns the 19.
I don't think any
just a
contact
little loose.
was made there.
Then the 48 just kind of cambered onto it, comes back up. 50 innocent bystander, and the 19 gets some more on the nose. Yeah, we're going to go back and take a look on the nose.
Well, it looks like it's that the 19 had to check up for the 97, and the 49 didn't expect it. And obviously netcode isn't contact, but it definitely has that sort of contact. If you can go to his nose view, you can see the 49 never made any contact.
Maybe it's just my client here, but it looks like there was a little bit of contact made. If not, there may have been anyway. But certainly one of those things you don't like to see.
Yes.
And then he finished off the job, obviously not intentional, but Nick Groth might have had a chance to save it. Aaron Vincent just kept hitting him. Comes back up the track here, nothing he can really do. He's out of control. The 50, tough break for Matthew
And now
George.
John G. pit.
See, that's the tough call, and I was really hoping we'd get this caution because I actually really want to see. And they are coming down pit road. Mark Figueroa.
Everybody. But do you take 2 tires? I mean, track position is very key. You've seen it's very hard to pass. You've seen it all night long. Do you take 2 tires?
I think here.
I mean, you're the crew chief here.
If you're 5th to 10th, I think you might take 2 somewhere in there to take that gamble. If you're up front, I think it's a 4. Especially if you're that 6, that 00, or the 88, because, again, why gamble when you've got nothing to really gain by? You've got the fastest car. If you're somewhere in the back of your Charles Silver, you might take 2. Stephen Massey might take 2. I don't see many guys. There's still 40 laps to go. We're probably going to get another caution. But we'll see here. It looks pretty much, 4 tires all around for these guys.
Oh, Anthony Fisher is going to be the first off pit road, I think.
He is. Anthony Fisher.
We have a new leader. And Justin Bland spins off pit road, maybe a little contact.
Gonna go back and get you a look here. What happened to that 65 car?
Looks like he just accelerated too early.
See, he's getting the left side's done here. He's gonna drop the jack. Perfectly fine pit exit. Yeah, it looks like he just stepped on the gas just a little bit too early, and he caught that front end pretty good. Ooh, good job.
Yeah, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's gonna hurt him too bad, John. I think he'll be all right.
In real life, that might be terminal. On iRacing, that's probably just a little bump and scratch. Now, if you bury the front end of a stock car into a concrete wall that is safer bury in real life, probably gonna tear the front end off. Right there, though, I think he'll be okay. That was very minute contact.
Well, John, I'll tell you who loves this caution, and that's our Mr. Tony Stewart. Luis Salmazo got the lucky dog there. Only 3 laps down now after trouble very early on tonight. Only 3 laps down, and currently in the 16th position. Hopefully get a couple more cautions if you're Luis, and you can maybe get back on the lead lap. I
was just going to say to your point there, it may not seem like a lot to get that lucky dog, but we've seen the racing ramp up. These guys are packed back into tight bundles, and you know, this is the same group of guys that had 20 cautions last week. Not saying they're going to do that again, but these guys love to race, and they don't want to sit back and watch while someone drives away with the win. So certainly going to pick up the intensity here, and with intensity comes cautions through no fault of anyone, but just going to get that battle going. We saw it there with Aaron Vincent. Not intentional, not dirty, just a little bit of a misjudgment. And that happens when you're racing that tight, that hard for these crucial point positions.
Yeah, John, you mentioned crucial point positions exactly, with the exception of the 87 of Anthony Fitchner, who's currently the leader, and Sean Medley, who's 8 laps down. Somebody could very well qualify for the chase tonight with a victory. Yeah,
unless Anthony Fitchner win this, we will have another chase contender locked in tonight, and Anthony Fitchner very well could win it. As we said, I don't think he has the fastest car, but he's certainly got some of the most talent out there on the racetrack. He's been doing this a very, very long time, and we know he's a very smart, very professional race car driver. And he's got the ability to. It'll be interesting to see if he can take a car that maybe isn't the fastest and steal one here tonight at Vegas.
Yeah, very well could, John. And I just want to point out that some of the fastest guys we've seen all night long, Kevin Cook, Aaron Vincent, Justin Bland, Nick Groth, Matthew George, some of them involved in that accident just now, are falling back. They're 11th through 15th respectively. And you got guys who haven't been up front at all. Corey Chaffin, Chris Coy are currently 9th and 10th respectively, as these guys double file up for the green flag next time by.
Quick note to Luis Salmazo fans' points here. Luis Salmazo really bad spot now, showing Nick Groth and Matthew George both a lap down.
And Matthew George.
So that all but does it for Luis Salmazo, unless those guys are caught up in a wreck. The next 2 lucky dogs will not go to Luis, and not going to get that many cautions. I don't think, can't get that many cautions, I don't think, numerically wise, to get himself back on the lead. It's a tough break for Luis.
John, haven't you learned not to count anything out?
That's true. Luis could pass all these cars 3 times knowing iRacing. So
I mean, Bill Elliott, Talladega, 1981.
Yes, sir. You never know. It is NASCAR racing. These guys pull some things out of their hats. Luis certainly got a much longer road ahead of him now, but for all you 72 fans at home, 3 laps down currently, and stuck behind 2 other cars. We're getting ready to go green here. Your top 3, Anthony Titchener, Mark Figueroa, Matthew Thunhorst. Chuck Harrell obviously been in it all night long, leading some of this race in the 4th position, and Rob Burns running out your top 5 in that Penn State car up to 5th, excuse me.
Yeah, John, AJ Scarborough 6th, Stephen Massey 7th, Charles Silver 8th, Chaffin and Chris Coy round out the top 10, with Kevin Cook, Justin Bland, and Aaron Vincent rounding out the rest of the lead lap cars. Only 13 cars left on the lead lap as the pace car makes his hard left turn down pit road. Anthony Titchener, always great at these restart games, and he's right there. Spins the tires a little bit.
He did take the outside again, a point to note there. Something to look forward to as we go down the end of the race. And a big knot now for second. Mark Figueroa did not get going, and Matthew Thunhorst is there. Contact the 5 around.
Scarborough. Can he save it?
What a save by AJ.
And AJ Scarborough with a very Kyle Busch-esque save right there. Great save.
That is one of the hardest things to do, is save a car on the banking of a corner, and he just did it perfectly there. Only going to lose 7 spots, I think, back to 11th. So what a save
and John
by the
Anthony
5 car.
Titchener loose off turn 4. What a save. Great catch for the 87 there. Had the lift out of it. Mark Figueroa, Matthew Thunhorst, and Chuck Harrell closing in.
We mentioned the intensity ramping up here towards the end of this race. These guys not saving anything now. They're good to the end on fuel. They're good to the end on tires. Now it's just who's got the best race car, pedal to the metal, and these guys are flying around this racetrack. Loose cars everywhere.
John Anthony Titchener already qualified for the chase. He's out there just having fun in his South Carolina Gamecock Chevrolet SS number 87. He's out there doing this for fun right now. He's qualified for the chase. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He's going out there and he's trying to get some wins.
But for anyone that knows Anthony Titchener, it doesn't matter if he's qualified for the chase race 1, race 26. It does not matter. He wants to win. He's very competitive. He takes this very seriously. Builds these setups probably better than anyone I've ever known personally, and he flies in the number 87 car. So probably doesn't have the best car tonight, but his will to win is really carrying him forward here. He's driven that thing. He qualified 12th. He hasn't had the best run in the first run of the race. He found himself in 5th after the first cycle of green flag pit stops, and now he's gapped in one of the biggest gaps we've seen all night.
And John, we've talked about those 3 cars, Figueroa, Matthew Thunhorst, and Chuck Harrell, all battling for the lead all night long. And all those guys are battling for second, while at the same time trying to reel in the 87. So they got multitask right now if they're going to want anything to do with this win.
It'll certainly be interesting. Anthony Titchener's had a pretty good short-run car. I don't know how it's been in the long run. We haven't really had a long run with him up front. It'll be interesting to see over the long run. Right now, if you're Mark Figueroa and Matthew Thunhorst, how much do you want to battle? We've only got 33 laps to go. If you lose touch with that leader when you get a caution, he just Sunday drives away with it.
Well, John, I just want to say, not of any fault of the league. You mentioned earlier just racing. I don't think we're done with cautions yet.
No, these guys doing some battle back in the pack here. We got a really good battle going on, 9th through about 12th position. And it's Las Vegas. This is a very fast, very slippery racetrack for what it is, and these guys really driving these cars. See the 5 still hanging in there. Surprise after that huge slide in turn 1 for the contact with, I believe it was the 6 car. Good job with him hanging on to it. He's kept those tires in check, and he's working on Justin Bland right now for the 9th position.
John, you mentioned it. It's Vegas. It's slick. It's hot. It's fast. It's everything. And it's also Vegas. Anything happens in Vegas.
Vegas, one of those tracks over the years where storylines seem to write themselves. This is a very different racetrack. Again, we mentioned if you have a good car, you're probably going to do well, but it's such an easy track to get the hang of and such a hard track to master that a lot of guys can really come out here and run well that you don't usually see. And I think we're seeing that tonight. Obviously, Anthony Titchener with 2 wins already this season out front, but these next 3, you know, except for Matthew Thunhorst, still pretty new to the series, but he's ran well. Mark Figueroa and Chuck Harrell have a good runs tonight.
And John, I just want to point out that storylines also, not only do they write themselves, but they're very trends. I'd like to say our trends are very consistent. As you go back and you look, I mean, you guys look at the back. You go back and look. We run 1.5 miles a lot throughout the year. We run them majority of the season, and when you go back out there, Anthony Titchener ran 2nd at Atlanta, behind only to Aaron Berge, and Mark Figueroa sat on the pole at Atlanta, so we know he's fast. And Chuck Harrell even finished 7th at Atlanta. So you're going to see these guys that start to separate themselves from the rest of the field.
We mentioned, I was upset in a way that we didn't get to run Las Vegas when we were scheduled to run week 3. We had to postpone it here to week 6. This is such a good benchmark for where your program's at. Obviously, these are open setups. These are race teams. AJ Scarborough thinks better of 3 wide there, but these guys really try to pace themselves, you know, through Phoenix and through Martinsville and Daytona, and different tracks where you don't really get to see what you're made of. Las Vegas is a track, as well as Atlanta, where you really get to see what your team has. And it's kind of upsetting these guys didn't get that chance early on. They kind of had to postpone it. But now after Auto Club and Atlanta, you know, these different tracks, we're starting to see who's really good.
Yep.
And right now, they're all up front.
Yeah, John, and we go to another 1.5 miles next week at Texas Motor Speedway, another 1.5 mile venture for these drivers as they look to try to separate themselves from the rest of the field, especially Anthony Titchener, who's doing a fantastic job right now. He's currently holding a steady 8/10 of a second lead over Mark Figueroa and Matthew Thunhorst.
I don't think it's done, though. I think Mark Figueroa and Matthew both have kind of longer run cars. We especially saw it with Mark, where he kind of gapped.
Anthony cut the apron a little bit. He got loose. That's chasing up the hill. He's going to lose a little time there off turn 4.
Anthony really can't afford anything right now. I mean, he's got to drive almost a perfect race. We got 26 to go that time by.
And John, it's just so hard when you have a car that isn't cooperating with you, and that's a problem with Anthony Titchener right now. It's a problem he's had all night long. He just doesn't have the car, and he's really making up for it with skill right now.
It's hard to say a guy out front doesn't have the car, and we know some of you might be thinking we're insane, but in all honesty, he was 9th in practice. He qualified 12th. He ran most of the first run back just inside the top 10. Had some lucky breaks. He got a few spots on the first round of green flag pit stops. He got up to 4th. Got really lucky with a late caution, got himself in the lead, and he's kind of never looked back, but he certainly doesn't have consistently the fastest car out there. Right now he might, but throughout the night he's not been the #1 car.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Mark Figueroa is closing in on him. I don't want to say anything because I jinxed everybody that I talk about apparently tonight. But Mark Figueroa and Matthew Thunhorst both closing in on Anthony Titchener slowly but steadily, as we're going to have 24 laps to go, this time by only 24 laps to go around this 1.5 mile oval.
Time's certainly ticking down, and this race has ticked by. We're only, just over an hour into this race, and we're just about complete. These guys have run one heck of a race. I want to give another shout to the league in general. Coming off last week's race at Martinsville, they've done an excellent job rebounding in a really fun race to watch tonight. Been really good battling up front, and I don't think we're done with it yet. Mark Figueroa drives it hard and makes up some time on Anthony Titchener.
Got great battles all the way throughout the track, John. These guys have really separated themselves. AJ Scarborough seems to be stalling out in 9th place after he got by Justin Bland in 65. But the battle, I think, is going to be for the lead. Obviously, it's how you always want to finish a race, but Mark Figueroa closing in just about a 1/2 a lap on the leader, Anthony Titchener, and Matthew Thunhorst losing about a 1/2 to Mark Figueroa a lap. So these guys are running very steady lap times, and they're running very consistent. And Mark Figueroa looks to take the lead over from Anthony Titchener.
I kind of have to swallow my words because earlier I said that I thought Matthew Thunhorst had the car to beat, and he put himself in a position to be up there, and right now his car is just not doing what he wanted to. He's not as fast as he was. I thought maybe he was saving a little bit earlier. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe his car is just not coming to him when he needs it to. I mean, obviously 3rd is not a bad place to be, but I thought he'd be the one to have something for the leader, and Mark Figueroa would be that 3rd place car. But right now Mark is showing me up, and he's only 2/10 off his bumper.
Well, John, I think it plays into Mark's cards. We talked about it earlier, about how he's driving in it harder, and it could be burning up his tires, but on a short run, like we do, like a sprint to the finish like we have, I don't think it really matters about tires.
Yeah, tires here in Vegas,
he's really using that to his advantage.
They play a part, but not as big of a part as in Atlanta or Texas. This track is not really hot out here either. It's only 70 degrees for this race, and it's not really eating these tires up too badly. I don't know the exact tire wear, but the times haven't fallen off a considerable amount, especially for a 1.5 miles. So coming down to the end here. I mean, these guys pretty much on an even playing field, looking to go get it. Quick call I want to give Stephen Massey, Nick Giles, I believe, pointed out in the chat here. All the way back up to 6th. He was on the pole tonight. He had the 2 rides to the infield grass. He's battling right now for the 7th spot, but a good rebound by him and a good drive on that Tennessee number 97.
Got to represent those volunteers, John, running up there. He's doing a good job. What about Charles Silver? He's been running inside that top 10 all night long and currently in 5th place trying to get his season best finish of the year in his North Carolina Tar Heels machine.
Yeah, he's been a guy I thought would have something for the lead tonight, maybe a chance to win this thing. He never really found himself in a position to challenge for it, but consistent night. He's been inside the top 5, most of it inside the top 10 all night long, and right now he's coming up on the back bumper of Chuck Harrell, a guy that we thought would have a shot to win this thing, who's fallen 3 seconds off the lead in 4th position.
Yeah, John, you mentioned it. When he gets behind people, he really loses off a lot of time, and I think that's really playing into a factor. It's a good catch by you about how he's really slower in dirty air.
Yeah, with this new rules package, it really affected these cars a lot more. Almost, not obviously nowhere near as much as an Indy car, but a lot more with the aero push you get off the back of a car, and it's something that these guys maybe still figuring out a little bit, and Chuck Harrell maybe didn't build a setup that's comfortable in dirty air, and that's something that people in real life struggle with all the time. Is they're great out front, and they can easily run 3-4 tenths of faster laps out front than they can when they get behind somebody. So when Chuck was out front, he had the car to beat. Now that he's dropped back a little bit, he's really struggling, looking to drop that 4th position to Charles Silver in the 7th.
And John, just as we seem to be counting out Matthew Dunhorse, he comes right back on the bumper of Mark Figueroa. That's for 2nd place right now. Mark Figueroa losing by half a tenth right there to Anthony Fitchner. Anthony Fitchner trying to pull away. He catches that 8 and he gets all the way down to that white line. We talked about earlier not being able to hold that white line, and he's doing a great job of it right now.
He's done something to that car or to his driving style, because earlier he couldn't keep that car on that white line at all. He was in the middle line, and he was struggling to hold that. Right now he's got that thing hooked on that white line Kevin Harvick style, and he's just flying around this racetrack. Something he did in the pits or something he's changed in the driving style. Anthony Fitchner now becomes the car to beat after not really getting his name mentioned a lot all night long.
Absolutely, John. And right now we mentioned Matthew Dunhorse being in a spoiler sandwich. Right now, Mark Figueroa is in an SEC sandwich. South Carolina and Mizzou running 1st and 3rd. Right in the middle of them is Mark Figueroa in the National Guard 00 machine, trying to not lose touch of Anthony Fitchner right now.
Yeah, if Anthony Fitchner gets much farther out, I think it's his race to lose. I think it's already his race to lose in a sense, but if he gets out to about a second, where there's only 15 laps to go, it's going to take a slip now. It's hard to gain that much time on a track like Las Vegas. Looking back in the pack, though, Stephen Massey up to 5th, passes Charles Silver. Now they're looking for Chuck Harrell in that 88, so Stephen Massey, a great rebound.
We have right here, John.
Yeah, these guys
4th
all
the way
each
back
other.
to about 9th, all within by half a second to a second of each other. Great battle. Very fun to watch right now for 5th on back. Kevin Cook rebounded really nicely after pitting on that last run of pit stop. Oh, Charles Silver gets loose.
Charles Silver, great job to hang on to that race car. We gave Kevin Cook a shout in the beginning of the race here about a guy that we wanted to keep an eye on tonight. He's running that Tennessee Tech car, a very nice-looking paint scheme, and a guy that was okay in practice. He qualified okay, and he's kind of had an okay night. I thought he'd improve and maybe
battle down the backstretch on Rob Burns and Charles Silver. That's
Charles Silver was making headway. Now he's losing a lot of ground.
Yeah, as soon as we talked about him.
Yeah, it's that old MOTV jinx we put on him there. He was all the way up battling for the 4th position. Now he's fallen all the way back to 8th. That car really going away from him. Now he's going to lose 9th, it looks like, to AJ Scarborough.
Yeah, he shuts the door on AJ right there. Good move, I think. Defensive move. Probably not the smartest move to play, especially when you're on hot tires like that. But you got to do what you got to do. He's looking to prevent himself. We were talking about him doing a great job running, maybe getting a top 5, but he's falling all the way back to 8th right now into the clutches of AJ Scarborough for tonight.
And as we wind down the race, folks, I want to give a quick shout here to MOTV. We do broadcast every single Tuesday night, 9:23 Eastern Time, right here on this channel. Go ahead and throw the channel a follow. I'll throw our Twitters up on the screen here for just a second. You see the league there at ECR_league. Our personal broadcast Twitter at Moist_online, and Colin and I's personal Twitters as well. We are live here. Qualifying starts about 9:30 Eastern every night. The green flag about 9:40, 9:35. So if you guys want to come on back, Tuesday nights, we're live here. This is only week 6. Got 30 more to go. We run the exact Sprint Cup schedule. This was our week 3 race that got postponed due to some issues with iRacing. We are making it up here. So we follow the Sprint Cup schedule. We thank you all again for coming out tonight. We got a great battle down the stretch here. Mark Figueroa closing back in.
With the 87.
Yeah, the 87 way off the pace.
He's not off the pace. He's running a weird line in the entry to 3. He's running low, and it's really hurting him on exit. Mark Figueroa is there, John.
That lap car at 19 may have slowed him up a little bit.
Well, he was running. He entered low. I don't know if he's trying to take a defensive on, but something's wrong with that 87.
Yeah, not what we expected. He was out to over a second lead, and Mark Figueroa right there. Caution on the
And the
racetrack.
caution is out, and all that goes to nothing. And Mark
Kevin
Figueroa
Cook and
does
Charles
not wanna
Silver are
see
going to
that.
be in it. Two guys we had
my.
talked about. Kevin Cook had a great rebound. Charles Silver was slipping, and these two are going to be the caution here. Go back and take a look. Looks like they're side by side off of 4. Charles Silver just gets loose again.
Just gets loose.
Couldn't hold
my
on
goodness.
to it. Obviously, nothing.
And
you can
Kevin
do there.
Cook currently second in points right now.
Kevin Cook,
That's
not
gonna
the
hurt
break
him.
he won.
Now, question, John.
Gonna go back
I'd
here.
love to keep talking about those guys. I'd hate to see them wreck, but we have to bring up the question: do you pit?
I think
With only 11 cars on the lead lap, do you pit?
if you're Anthony Ditcher, I'm not sure you can. If you're everybody else,
I think if you're in the top, if you're in the top 3, you can't pit.
if you're in
you
the
can't.
top 3, it's a really hard call to make. Because if you pit, you essentially throw away your chance at a victory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but if you don't pit, then you've got
And in this new system, John, new playoff system, a win is everything.
a win's everything. I mean, second place, especially if you're someone like Anthony Ditcher who's already locked in
Mm-hmm.
the chase, means absolutely nothing. So, I think you stay out. I think if you're in 6th, maybe you come in. If you're in a Stephen Massey spot, maybe a Rob Burns, you pit. You got really nothing to lose. There's only
I think if you're
13
Christopher
cars on
Coy,
the lead
Aaron
lap.
Vincent, Corey Chaffin, I think you
and they
pit
do
no matter
come.
what.
Anthony Ditcher on pit road.
Anthony Titchener, they do.
Chuck
Harrell
Harrell stays out.
Oh, and he's a sitting duck.
That's not. If you're Chuck Harrell, that is the last thing you wanted to see is all those cars on pit road. Now the question is, 1 or 2, or 2 or 4, excuse me.
Well, one tire.
If you're Aaron Berge, it might be 1 or 2. If you're everybody
Aaron
else,
Berge,
2 or
one
4.
I think you have to take 4. If you
I think
come
4
down,
is
you
the
have
call
to take
here
4.
as well.
Two
See, Anthony
tires. You
Titchener's
haven't,
gonna be
you
the
haven't
guinea
run
pig.
2 tires all night long.
Anthony
I think if
Ditcher
you
is
have-
going to take 4.
Yeah, if you haven't taken 2 tires all night long, you can't. I don't see why you can. Why
Matthew
you would.
Thunhorse with a 2-tire stop.
Matthew Thunhorse does take 2 tires. I think that's Aaron Vincent. Aaron Vincent might have taken 2 tires as well.
Justin Bland with a 2-tire stop.
And Mark Figueroa is
AJ
the
Scarborough.
big loser, John.
Yeah, Mark Figueroa going to lose a lot of spots. He's still on pit road. Or excuse me, no,
He's
he's
right
not. He's
there.
off
He comes
pit
up.
road.
Justin Bland get caught speeding? No, he did not. Okay. Oh my, that would have been rough.
A whole array of strategies played there. You got your leader, Chuck Harrell, stayed out. Matthew Thunhorse took 2. Anthony Ditcher took 4. 4th place, Justin Bland took 2, I believe. Mark Figueroa took 4. And then everybody else behind them, well, AJ Scarborough, Aaron Vincent, I think, took 2. And then Stephen Massey, Rob Burns took 4. So,
Well, John, let's see if we can get a word here with Justin Bland, the 65 machine, our in-race reporter. Mr. Justin Bland, I told you we weren't going to be done talking to you tonight, man. What's going through your mind right now? You're going to restart 4th on the second car with 4 fresh tires. What's going through your mind right now as you look to hopefully get a win?
Biggest thing here is I gotta hope everybody else gets a good restart. I gotta hope I get my restart good. I gotta execute here. Everything's got to be perfect. Any mistake can ruin this whole thing for me. So it depends on a lot of different things.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're going to restart 4th. Do you hope? I mean, you got to wonder, the 88's going to spin his tires. He's going to have to. I mean, he's on 30-lap old tires. The 6 is on 2 tires. He could very well spin his tires as well. I think you're going to have a 5-lap shootout. What do you have to look for here in your South Florida machine? I mean, you want them to get messed up? Do you want them to get a great restart? Do you want them to get good runs until you get a better run?
The big thing for me right now is, as bad as it sounds, I want them to kind of mess the restart up a little bit so I can stay with them. And as long as if I can stay with them, that's going to be my best chance. As long as I can match my lines with other people, I'm okay. As soon as I get strained out, that's when I start to suffer. That's what really seemed to be hurting me the last run.
Well, you've been out there with everybody all night long. With these tire calls, staying out, 2-tire, 4-tire, who's the guy to beat right now?
Honestly, I think hard to beat the 87. I know me and the 6 are on 2. I actually took 2. That's why I gained about 5 spots on pit road because of it. So right now, the big thing for me is to try to keep my position.
Now, if a caution comes out, it's over. So what?
Exactly.
I mean,
that played into the decision a lot. If something happens here, especially on the restart, I gained 6 spots. I was running 10th before that caution came out. So as long as I can hold on to positions, this is a good call in my opinion. So we'll just see how this restart goes, and I don't know. A little sketchy. I'm nervous.
Absolutely, man. Well, good luck on the restart, buddy. You got 5 laps to go on the restart. Good luck tonight.
I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I can bring the USF car to victory.
And that was your
Well,
number
John.
65 USF Chevy SS driver and race reporter Justin Bland and Colin. Here we go.
What's going to happen? I mean, we got to remind everybody back home, we don't have green-white checkers. We don't have one-lap shootouts. If a caution comes out on this restart, it's
all
over.
over.
It's over.
Interesting
So,
note here,
Chuck
Chuck
Harrell-
Harrell, sticking with the trend, took the outside lane. You mentioned wheel
He's
spin
on
in
old
your
tires.
interview
He's going to
there.
spin his tires. He's going
You
to spin
have
his
to.
tires. He's gonna, the car's gonna yank to the right. It's just a matter of fact of minimizing the yank. He's gonna have to be ready for it. I know he's gonna be ready for it. It's just a matter of who can get the
Right
less.
now,
Everyone's gonna have wheel spin. This is gonna be whoever can get the least amount.
If you look at this field, Anthony Titchener's in the best position. He's right there in
Mhm.
third. The inside line's going to get the best restart, at least from what we think. And if he can get going, he can
Yeah.
pass both these cars, and if they wreck, it's all over. So you've got to go, and you got to go now, because as you
Mhm.
mentioned, a caution ends it. And these guys certainly all bunched up, and the intensity is going to be crazy here. So
Well,
5
John-
laps to go, folks.
We're gonna find out right here, man.
It's all getting ready to boil down
Here
to
we
this.
go.
Matthew
Come on.
Thunhorse, Chuck Harrell on the front row. Chuck Harrell is your leader
This
on the
car's in, baby.
outside.
Here we go. Chuck Harrell is gonna go.
Chuck Harrell gets a great
you see
jump.
The wheel spin right there. You see the wheel spin. You see it yank to the right there. Matthew Dunhorse with those two tires. He doesn't want to finish in the Cinderella seat again, man. He wants to go. He doesn't want to be the bridesmaid no more. Justin
Right
Bland
now,
in
if you're
fourth.
Chuck Harrell, that caution has to come out.
Oh, Anthony Titchener. has a
Anthony
run to
Titchener
victory
wanna move
right
to the
off
bottom.
two for the lead. What a move by Anthony Titchener.
And they turn him!
And Anthony Titchener's going to
Anthony Titchener wins at Chuck Harrell. Matthew Thunhorse comes back across the track. What a great job to
Oh,
miss
my
him.
goodness.
What a move down the finish there. He went for it. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, he tried sticking on the outside right there, and
This is the chase, folks. It's a win and you're in.
the 6 just
And it
came down. I
looks-
think he tried side drafting the 88, and
It's a really tough call on what happened there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a bit of a
And
closer
we just
look
talked
here.
to Justin Bland. He's going to finish second. Wow. I think the 6 came down right there. In my opinion, that's exactly what looked like to happen.
Looks like just one of those racing deals. I mean, the 6 is there, and the 88 maybe wiggles, and the 6 wiggles, and they just kind of get the same spot at the same time. Tough break. I mean, for both those guys, I think more so for Chuck Harrell. Just kind of trying to stay out of the way there and hold on to positions. And Matthew Thunhorse, and you can't fault anybody there. It's the end of the race.
No,
it's a win and
it's
you're
the end of the
in.
race. They're going for everything they can, and
But how about Justin
that's what
Bland?
happens. Yeah,
Second place for Justin Bland after being
How
in
about
12th before the last caution. Two-tire
that
pit
is
stop. He
insane.
gets his caution, and he's going to come home second.
Yeah,
What a
that's
run for
awesome.
him.
Have our in-race reporter up there. We're going to talk to him one more time in the end, but how
Another
about
call,
that?
Aaron Vincent at one point was 13th, 2 seconds going a lap down. He comes home second. Stephen Massey
about
rode
that?
through the grass 3 times
Christopher
tonight.
Coy's in 8th.
AJ Scarborough, we haven't called his name all night except for the right front damage. He's going to come home in the top 5 and 4th.
And I think Luis Salmazo is going to come home 14th.
So not a bad night for Luis. He's in a wreck. He goes 4 laps down. You know,
Obviously
on
not
lap
the night
20.
you want to drive from behind the entire night, but definitely not
But for
awful.
points, I mean, that's not awful going forward. Luis, a good rebound. And Anthony Titchener's going to get his 3rd win of the season, not to overshadow that. Your
And
winner
the
tonight,
4th
Anthony
win in a
Titchener.
row by Harris Mick's Famous Racing.
Yeah, what a drive by that team to start the season. They are locked in. I mean, well, obviously locked into the chase, but they're locked in mentally. This team is going to be one to watch to sweep events. I mean, they're crazy.
Definitely something to look forward to.
So the EOL should be given to one of the 2 drivers, obviously, that was involved in that wreck. So nothing really to follow up drama-wise there with the front runners.
I think no matter what, this Chuck Harrell's going to finish 12th, and Matthew Thunhorse is going to finish 14th or 15th. I don't think it's going to really affect anything that bad because they both were involved.
Good to see here. We have a caution at the finish that doesn't affect the EOL. Doesn't affect the outcome. We had some controversial calls a few weeks ago with different things. So good to see a finish tonight that is going to go as planned. Again, I think we would get one to go on this restart. We do not do 1-lap shootouts here.
Yeah, it would be a one-lap shootout, but
At
there's nothing you
ECR.
can do about that.
The reasoning
but how
behind
about the
that-
move Anthony Titchener made, John? If we can go back and look at that from his nose camera, his gyro cam, I mean, just the thought process that had to go through that.
If you give me just a second, I might be able to get us back that far here.
I'd love to look at that. I mean,
All right,
his
folks.
gyro cam right there is it's a thrill to watch.
Go ahead and just roll it from the restart here. We're just going to go on board. This is coming down the backstretch on the pace lap. Anthony Titchener, as I called before the restart, pretty much the second best spot he could be. Obviously, the first would be where Matthew Thunhorst was at. You always want to be, on the inside line. But in third position is not a bad spot to be. Chuck Harrell was on the old tires, and Anthony went out and he did what we knew he so many times could do, and just overdrive a car really that wasn't as good as his talent level, and he made it work.
He did a fantastic job.
Look at the restart here from his nose. I mean, these guys did a great job of not wheel spinning. Chuck Harrell really got a little bit because his back end was jacked up. He was getting a little bit of a push, but really great job. And Anthony Titchener right now, going into turn one, not what you want to see, and then out of nowhere just makes it
look
stick.
at that run. I don't know how he didn't make contact with the 6. He just drives it in.
Just about. He only lifted the turn under the 6. He didn't lift all the way through turn one, and then just.
And John, obviously, when you see those guys wrecking,
him.
it's virtual, so you can't do anything like what I'm about to say. But when you see those guys wrecking, you know Anthony Titchener is fist pumping the hell out of that
he's
car
sitting in his rig at home right now. He sees those cars in the mirror with that smoke, and he knows he's just won. And that is an amazing feeling. You obviously don't want to win by a wreck. It's not something that you enjoy doing, but a win's a win,
I think
and he
no
earned
matter
it.
what, the way he drove that thing, I think it was his race no matter what.
Oh, the way he made that 3-wide move, that was one of the best moves I've seen. I mean, I've been on iRacing now going on my second year, and that was one of the best moves I've ever seen pulled on this sim. So huge props to Anthony there.
South Carolina, John. University of South Carolina, USC Gamecocks. I know he's talking about earlier. He said he'd love to come in here and say that he's pumped to see his cock in victory lane, his Gamecock in the USC.
That's Anthony.
Number 87 machine. Anthony's going to love to say that. And I don't know if he's going to or not because,
I'm sure he will.
PG-13, but a great run by I had a lot of fun tonight with the NCAA themed. And
it was a blast tonight watching it. I mean, these
was.
are really great paint schemes. Again, thank you to Nick Giles for supplying these. We had a blast tonight.
Luis Salmazo, great job.
Yeah, Luis, a great job up there as well. Just a blast tonight watching these guys go around the track. It was a very bright, colorful, fun race, and we had a lot of fun up here in the booth. I know it was one of the better races we've had this year, and thank you all for coming out and being a part of it after last week's incidents at Martinsville. Good to come back tonight. A great race. Only 4 cautions, and all of them really just racing deals. Nothing real bad. So great run, and Anthony Titchener, what more can you say? 3 wins in 6 races. He's 50-50 on the year. Not bad to ever be 500 when it comes to racing.
And John, I don't think he wants anybody else to qualify for the chase. I just don't think he wants
At
anybody.
this point, we're going to get there all on points. There's only going to be like 4 winners because Anthony Titchener's driving.
And it's going to make it fun. It's going to make it fun in Richmond in September, John.
Oh yeah, these points positions. Remember, winning you're in, but the rest comes down to points. And see Justin Bland with a wave out the window there, and Anthony. Those guys have fun, and a great drive by Anthony tonight with that W.
Yeah, a lot of fun by everybody. AJ Scarborough out of nowhere finishing 4th tonight. Stephen Massey 5th. Aaron Vincent 6th. John Rob Burns 7th. Chris Coy 8th. Matthew George, after going a lap down and getting a lucky dog, he's in 9th. And they wreck on the back. Oh my goodness. Everybody beating the hell out of that car right there.
Having some fun with the league president there, Anthony Titchener. Always fun when he wins these things. He puts so much time and effort in, and it's good to see.
He's going to have a burnout he won't be able to see.
Yeah, he's already burning that out, coming out of that motor. So you see Corey up there on his bumper, the 97 of Stephen Massey teammates. Messing with their owner just a little bit here. But we'll go ahead and get these post-race interviews started, Colin. I'll go ahead and pull down our 3rd place finish tonight, that 00 car. Pretty much run well all night long.
That he did, John, and I'm down here with the 00 Mark Figueroa. Had one of the fastest cars all night long, led the majority of the early portion of the race. Mark, you had a great run tonight, man, and finishing out P3. A strong run by your 00 team, and definitely a nice rebound.
Yeah, it's been real nice. I've had decent cars, decent setups. It's just been nice to get a top 3 finish and come out of here clean and with all the body panels straight. So it was good. I did have something for Anthony there at the end, and I did not want to see those 2 cautions at the end.
Well, absolutely, man. I mean, you had a fantastic car in your National Guard 00, trying to spoil. We talked about all night, trying to spoil our college-themed night here, and you almost did it. You had a great car. You led the most laps tonight. 55 laps led. You got your first top 10 of the season. Like you said, we haven't had the finishes that have gone along with the runs. You got the pole at Atlanta. We've talked about these mile-and-a-half tracks and how they build up the majority of the season. So it has to feel good after getting a pole at Atlanta and come here and running very well at Las Vegas.
Yes, it does. It feels awesome. I'm so happy. I'm ecstatic right now because it's just nuts.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on third place. You're gonna move up by no any means necessary, probably up inside the top 12 in points. You had a great run tonight. Congratulations on that, and good luck when we see you next week at Texas.
I appreciate it, guys, and be looking forward to everybody watching Classic Motorsports be back up front again next week at Texas.
That was your third place driver tonight, the very confident, the 00 Mark Figueroa. He had a great run tonight. Thought, honestly, he was one of the cars to beat and brought him home third. Now our second place finisher, Justin Blaine. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Well, it's finally my turn to talk to you. My buddy Colin's been talking to you all night long, and it's finally my turn to step in here and ask you a few questions. Well, you didn't really call your name much tonight, minus the in-race reporting stuff. What was going through your mind when you saw those cars get turned on the backstretch and you drove it through the smoke to second place?
Dude, this is the highest I've been the whole race, so to get it there at the end is just awesome. And all the work we put in this week to get a top 2 finish is just amazing. Got to give a shout out there to Matthew. Great setup. He made this car as good as it was. So it was a blast there at the end. Thought I had a chance maybe for a win, but Anthony got out of the wreck as well. So I'm happy for him. Good win to Anthony. And whew, that was a blast. I feel like I won the daggum race.
Well, you just about did. I mean, honestly, with the night you had, second place is almost better than a win, to be honest with you. You struggled pretty much all night long. Coming down the stretch there, 2 tires at the end there, you were one of the few guys that did it. What was the pit strategy on the call there?
The big thing with taking 2 tires there at the end was the biggest thing, I'm going to be honest with you, is if there was a caution there at the end, the race was over. So the field froze wherever I'd be. I was hoping I'd only lose a couple spots. Anything better than when I came in, which was 9th, which definitely worked even better than I was planning to. So yeah, it was just mainly for positions. I wasn't planning on even competing for a win there at the end. It was just a matter of getting better spots than what I would have had if I took 4. So capitalized, and I'm really happy about it.
Well, a great move there, 9th to 2nd on that last round of pit stops there. And Justin Blaine comes home 2nd tonight. Congratulations, buddy. We look forward to seeing you do some more at Texas.
Thanks, man.
That was your second place finisher tonight, that number 65 of Justin Blaine. Great run by him and convincing finish there with a 2-tire
that
pit stop.
black line, which is pretty much above
Hey, Anthony,
the
it's
first
Jonathan
lane.
in the ECR booth,
So
buddy. You got a copy?
Yep, you just were going over a couple things with the cautions there, bud. How you doing?
Hey, Anthony, man, you for the first time, I think all year, you didn't have the car to beat. You ran mid-pack, latter portion of the top 10 all night long, and what happened? Like you just came alive out there. We talking about you didn't have the car, and you do have the skill. How'd you manage to get out there and get the win?
Oh man, just you put it in the perfect spot. I mean, we were out front there, found ourselves good pitting there. I was ahead of Mark. I guess he pulled into his stall a little bit hard there, so had good pitting and came out with the front row there. Good, obviously good restart helped us hold on to that. Before that caution came, I got to say Mark probably would have had that one. Real great racing, man. I had a lot of fun. Made a couple adjustments there at the end that really helped it come off, and I finally figured out 1 and 2, so I was able to pick up a little bit of speed there, and just glad everything worked out. 4 in a row for Haters Make Us Famous, and it's just, we're on top of the world, man. It's great.
And you mentioned right there 4 wins in a row for Haters Make Us Famous Racing. We talked about it just a minute ago. Do you not want anybody else to qualify for the chase on a win? You want them to earn it?
Well, we'd like them to get in. Obviously, we want to have a full field on wins. We just want to make sure our guys get in first, right?
Well, the way, man, you had a great run tonight. You had 35 laps, and you had the fastest lap out of anybody all night long. So you definitely had a fast car. You have some of the best driving skill in the league, and to come out there and get your third victory of the win, or third victory of the season after qualifying 12th, that has to feel really good about your chances going into yet another mile and a half next week at Texas.
Yeah, man, you said it, and it's just a total team project here, team effort. I got to give credit to Aaron Scarborough for providing the setup this week, man, and giving me the speed, because I was struggling with speed early in the week and just not even finishing races because it was just not handling well at all. And we figure something out and get his setup, and we make a couple tweaks, and practice went well for us. And I couldn't thank them guys enough, man. Whether it's Sean, Aaron, Wayne, Joshua, all of them, man. Both Aarons there. We got a great crew, just a bunch of good guys.
Well, absolutely, man. You improved your points lead by an insurmountable amount. You got your 4th top 10 of the season. You got your 4th top 5, and you got your 3rd win of the season, man. So congratulations on that, and good luck next week in Texas, and obviously good luck the rest of the season. We can definitely count on seeing you in Homestead.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And that was what shouldn't be a surprise, but kind of is tonight. Your winner, Anthony Ditcher, the number 87 South Carolina Gamecocks Chevy SS. So, Colin, coming off last week at Martinsville, we had the 20 cautions, and the race we'd really rather forget. Into tonight in Las Vegas with a phenomenal race, and one that I think we're going to remember come Homestead. What's you looking forward to next week at Texas? We roll in another mile and a half.
Well, no, I hope to see that we see something a lot similar to tonight. A lot of green flag racing, a lot of hard racing, a lot of close racing, and to see something. Hopefully, we finish under green next time. But I can definitely feel like we're going to have a great finish tonight, and hopefully, we see a lot of good racing next week as well.
And I'm certainly looking forward to it. I know Colin is, and the whole rest of the ECR League is. We are live next Tuesday night, 9:23 Eastern Standard Time, right here on this Twitch channel for the running of the Texas event. It'll be week 7, and I think we roll into Bristol from there. So things getting intense as we roll into the season. So
I want to interrupt you real quick, John. I just want to say I'm very happy that in Alabama, Crimson Tide machine did not go to victory lane tonight. No offense to Aaron Vincent or Corey Chaffin. I'm just very happy about that.
That is a big 10-4 on that. I don't think when we saw those two grid, I don't think anybody in the chat wanted that Alabama car in victory lane because that's all we would have heard about. But certainly, we never want to see anybody run bad, but when they throw in the Alabama paint, not the worst thing in the world to see them towards the back.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we go on next week at Texas. Should be back to the regular paints then. Some of these guys might stick with the college team. It'll be interesting to see who sticks with it and who switches back. But we'll catch you all next week right here, Tuesday night, 9:23 Eastern. Go ahead and throw the channel a follow. I'll throw the Twitters up on the screen again, as well as the league information and the everything's down below. So thank you guys for coming out. Again, we appreciate it. It was another awesome night of racing here at ECR. This is John Bucher, Colin Fern from MOTV signing off, and we'll catch you guys next Tuesday night, 9:23. We'll see you guys then.